Hello, hello, hello.
And Joker is in a tricky spot. Surely
हाँ
he's gonna be going
ओ
down, gets
ये
into
तुमको स्क्रीन नहीं दिख रही, रुको पहले तो पॉप आउट चैट.
is getting taken quite low HP, but not committing just yet. Maori left in a 1 versus 3 at a stun is gonna be settling it. How did Zeta pick up this game? How are they contesting this set? I mean, what an incredible match so far.
Hello Skull.
Come back to be
Hey bro, what's up?
Zeta managed to win that second round, and that looked like Reply Totem were just going to sweep it, take the set straight away, and make it 2-1. But now it looks like Zeta might be the ones doing that, as they're 1-1 in this set, and it's 1-1 overall as well, obviously. So Totem need to rethink their strategy again, because it worked a couple of times, but now Zeta seems to have their number.
It's all even in this match, and as you said, grand final worthy so far. The quality certainly is, but this game is going to decide who takes the upper hand into set number 4.
Hello Bowen, कैसे?
Some good tanks from Maori, but again, no follow-up as both teams are playing very respectfully, making sure to not give too much away and not feed too many supers. Now we would very much like his. We did see quite a difference between the rounds where he had his in the end game and the rounds where he didn't. Gadget plays down by Joker. Interesting. Now he's going to be quite low HP. Maru is going to be able to shut him down. It's a 2 versus 3. And surely, oh, super actually from Meow.
Oh boy.
He tried.
Jeez, that was close.
Yeah.
मेरा पूरा EMEA का मिस हो गया
Wasn't going to be connected.
और APAC भी थोड़ा सा
Miss in that position with a marked up shot.
very dangerous.
There, it was just pretty much a done deal for Joker to be able to finish that one off, and now one round is between Reply Totem in the second set. Only 2 rounds for Zeta Division, so still so close, but 3 supers on the side of Reply Totem, none on the side of Zeta. But it did make a difference last time.
That is very true. All they needed was the Gus super. Just getting the super onto, it was a squeak earlier, and he got a 2-piece pretty much just on his own. So if they can replicate that sort of success here, that could be massive for Zeta Division, but it's their backs against the wall now as Reply Totem are in the driver's seat, and do need to be careful with how they will proceed. As we do see a sticky residue plays down. There's still another one available from Meow as well. Might have to use both in this final stage. As Maru is going down to the gas. Meow quite low HP as well. It's a 3-on-1, and yet again, it seems
Supercharge.
supers does not matter to Zeta Division as they bring this one back. And it's going to be the final round of knockout to this.
बॉर्न का अंदर इसलिए मिस हो गया. वाह,
Couldn't be any
इसी बात में बोलो जुबान केसरी.
for a better game.
बोलो जुबान केसरी.
Forward. See who does manage to take this one and take the set along with it. Still, 2 supers in the hands of Reply Totem, only 1 on the side of Zeta, but it is in the hands of Naui, and we know what he can do with this brawler. Now how aggressive he can play, but RT's hitting some shots. Now Joker's going to slot into this favoured position once more, and it's going to be tough for Zeta to get out of this.
Yeah, it's a strong place for him to stand. And now as well with the RT super, if he plays near enough to Joker, completely deflates any aggressive ideas that now he might have in mind.
वॉचर्स देख के बताओ कि मैं अभी भी टॉप 3 में आ सकता हूँ क्या? कहाँ हो भाई तुम?
And that's going to be
2.75 मुश्किल है.
Yeah, Meow's quite...
आ भी सकता अभी कितने बजे? 8 भी नहीं बजे, हम 9 साढ़े 9 तक तो करते ही हैं.
And with that gas tagging him there, it's going to be difficult with the legs to drop. Maori TP's away from it. The gas takes down 1. Can Joker clutch this one up? He gets 1 shot, but not any.
जी Zeta
Set and Reply Totem crumble in the tense moments.
2-1 हो चुका है.
This has to be one of the best knockout sets of all time, really. I mean, there were some excellent ones at Worlds last year, don't get me wrong, but this one was very special as well. Zeta somehow turning out on top of this one, even though it really looked like Reply Totem had it in the bag multiple times. They were just not able to close it out. Some incredible car play
Zeta जीतेगा.
worth pointing.
जीतेगा भाई, जीतेगा, जीतेगा। देखो हम तो पहले ही वोट कर चुके हैं, तो अपने को तो क्या ही है, अपना तो 3000 भी हो गया, इससे आगे बढ़ेगा नहीं।
There's so many opportunities.
I can't get more than 3000 points. So yeah,
Just have to
let's see.
well, now he's playing. You know, he went in, and even more, he dropped his legs. I think it might have been in this round, or I think the next round, but dropped his legs, and he still managed to get those kills by going past him. It was really nice from Zeta Division to manage to take.
Twitch पे भी स्ट्रीम कर लेता हूँ थोड़ा,
Stun came through.
थोड़ा सा, बस ज्यादा नहीं,
Gero as well, and
थोड़ा सा स्ट्रीम होने का ट्विच पे, थोड़ा सा।
Stats wise, it is going to be favoring Zeta Division a little bit, but I mean, what a close set overall. A very close match indeed. But now Zeta Division are back with the advantage. Let's see if Reply Totem can turn that around and push this to a set 5, or if Zeta can close it out in 4.
yeah, it's going to be a tense one. This set number 5 would definitely be what we'd want. We want to see these two teams battle it out, because this is, you know, this is a finals potential match. We've seen it multiple times throughout this year. Probably the two strongest teams in the region. Both of these have locked in 2 of the 3 world final spots, so definitely up there at the top of the region at the moment. But we'll see if Zeta Division are able to close it out in Pinball Dreams on Brawl Ball, or for Reply Totem drag it to a set number 5. We'll find out in just a moment, but I kind of feel like after that one, Totem have let that slip and Zeta might just run away with it.
It seemed like the momentum was in Reply Totem's favor in knockout, and yet somehow Zeta Division were able to remain ice cold, shut down any sort of hope that sparked on the Reply Totem front. First pick is going to be for Zeta. They ban out Grape, Primo, and Stu. Reply Totem banning out Shelly, Squeak, and Cordelius. Maybe some openings for a Barley, which has been one of the more threatening brawlers on this map. Some range is always good here as well, around the mid area. Squeak is a big threat, but it has been neutralized by the ban process. It's going to be a Nita first pick, actually, from Zeta, which I think is a fairly interesting one.
Yeah, I feel like you've had some pretty tough opinions on Nita in the past, especially on Brawl Ball, and you know, I kind of like it on this map. I feel like it's going to deter a lot of things, but with Primo banned out of the way, you know, it kind of narrows that down a little bit more. As Primo, you can see through those win rates here, is one of the big difference makers when it comes to winning on this map, and Nita would have shut that down a little bit more. Barley, another really solid pick, and that's actually not banned either, so definitely something that they might be leaning towards, especially with that Nita preventing him from the super. It is going to be quite a big thing to have, and they do choose to go with the Barley as their first pick on the side of Reply Totem.
Yeah, it's kind of like, I mean, I'm obviously not a professional drafter, but it's kind of the sort of ideas I would have had in mind as well with this draft. I would have gone Barley instead of the Nita, but then again, there are probably a couple steps that I'm missing on this plan for Zeta Division. They'll mix that up with a Crow, which I don't mind either. Don't necessarily think it's his greatest map, but he can get some good work down. His slows are always going to be very valuable as well. Let's see, though, this plan unfold from Zeta Division, because I feel like surely they got to have something in mind here if they decided to go Nita first pick over that Barley.
Well, we'll see what they do choose to pick in return, but I feel like that Barley's a great pick, and Crow, you know, it's pretty solid. He's going to be able to scout out a lot of these bushes over the left and right-hand sides and play that mid quite nicely, but Bonnie's going to be coming down from Zeta Division, and I like that pick as well. If you get the super, Barley's going to be in a bit of a tough place, and the same with Crow if the Crow doesn't have the jump away. So maybe a decent pick there from Zeta Division. They still need one more, and you've got to question if they need something a bit more aggressive that can just go aggressive with a click of a button rather than having to wait for Bonnie to get that super.
Yeah, I'm wondering if Willow might still be something they might consider here. Yeah, they'll go Willow. Okay, interesting. I mean, I kind of wish they went just Barley instead of the Nita, and then, you know, they probably could have gone Nita later on or something else, because I do prefer Barley over Willow here, but they just needed something to make sure that Barley doesn't have a lane to just sit at behind his walls and harass the rest of the map. So either the options are going to be get there by opening up the map, or have enough mobility to get up close, or just match his energy and have a thrower of your own. I don't know. We'll see the B as last. I was kind of expecting a B here as well, as EMA does like to bring a B for the mid of Pinball Dreams. I don't mind it. I think it can be good, quite strong, and it does have a decent matchup, of course, as well across the board. So I'm quite all right with both drafts. I'm really curious what the thrower battle is going to be like.
Yeah, I feel like Barley is kind of favored as the best thrower, and we saw it in the win rates, right? The win rate.
Throwers.
You don't expect it to be the better thrower on this map, and with
Let's go.
Willow, it's going to be a bit difficult, I feel. But with Crow Lane, I'm not sure about that one. We're kind of just going to see surely the throwers win these out, but Crow's going very aggressive, but instantly dealt with by Naui and Gero pinching that one in, and now they move up even further.
Now, low HP. Gero might try to go for mind control.
Oh yeah.
As soon as the respawn shield from Maru goes away, he gets mind control by Gero. What a beautiful pre-shot. I mean, that was down to the millisecond.
Soup's there from Mori, pushing Gero back a little bit now, and the jump's available from Naui too, so just going to maybe want to hold on to that a little bit longer. Wrestle Tide getting some damage, but not that much. Now the jump comes in, Joker's going to be getting taken down, but traded out with that 3k. Beautiful shot from him. Meow trying to push up, and obviously Maru's going to get some damage in. He's going to be able to slow every now and again, but it's going to be tickling the Nita at the moment until he starts to get a bit lower. But Gero now pushing forward, finds the pathway through, but doesn't get the shot at all. Last call comes out, bit of a waste by Mori, but at the same time, he got the side, so who cares?
Maru is low after that kill onto Meow. Reply Totem have built up some nice control. Gero gonna get pushed on by Mari, and Mari is tagged up, but still
Guy.
gets away with it victorious. See that division need to hold on for another minute. Seems like that's gonna be
जीटा का चांस ज्यादा है. टोटेम हमेशा हारती है जीटा सेल्यूल.
Gero now just trying to push this Crow, gets this big
ये दूसरी टीम है लेकिन.
gadget. Has the mind control but can't use it, wants to hold off a little bit longer. Jump comes in, now he needed to try and grab the ball there, not going to get it, and Totem are going to equalise this one out. Burn down a bit of the clock as well, which is
Goal.
because they've got a much...
Goal.
yeah, no, they certainly do. I mean,
Goal, they skip ball.
and Anita, and I mean, Bonnie and B is fairly even. So I'll agree with you there. 25 seconds left until overtime, and Reply Toto happy to play defensive until then. Let's see if now he's gonna go for a jump in here. He will indeed. He finds Joker, no trade. And a missed shot as well from Maori. We might not see an overtime here as they
Oh, Jesus. Good one.
lock in a match point.
I mean, what a turnaround considering they just conceded. We were like, right, they've got the better comp for overtime. We expect it to go to overtime. And Zeta know that as well, right? They know to go aggressive, so they don't have to go to overtime. And that's exactly what they do. They managed to secure that one nice and early on. We're going to a match point now for Zeta Division. And this is, you know, definitely make or break for Reply Totem now, as Zeta Division will move on to the finals if they win this one. And then even if they do lose this game, they're still in a good spot.
Gero with some good connections onto Mari, but he's low HP himself and eventually forced to back off. Maru pushing up on that right hand side as Meow went down, creating a big opening. No ability to capitalize just yet. Gero, low HP. Gero gonna go down. Mari will lose some more HP, but will survive. And now is going to be doomed in that positioning. 3 versus 2 right now, as they are cycling through those respawns. Always going to be one player down here for Zeta Division. Reply Totem just looking to find a big enough opening to get a goal.
Gero's starting to slowly push Mori back here down this left-hand side, but Mori just connecting a few shots. Has his jump as well, so Joker needs to be a bit cautious, but with Maru at his side, he should be able to survive it anyway. Jump goes in, but the takedown was there on the left-hand side. Mori's trying to help this push through, but Meow's still alive. The jump comes through, the intersection's beautiful there by Meow. Gets his bear as well, and gets the trade. Can't complain about that.
That was really good defense from Zeta Division, to be completely honest, because they managed to stop the respawn cycling, and then get trade after trade, deflate the push slowly. Now, overtime, as we discussed previously, is probably not going to be in their favor.
आज मनु दोपहर को भी नहीं आया क्या? आया तो था.
With what the game plan is.
ये चैंपियनशिप टीम्स की इमोट और प्रोफाइल भी आती है 19 जेम्स में कैटलॉग में, तो आप लेना पसंद करेंगे? ना भाई, मैं यूज ही नहीं करता, मैं कोई सी यूज नहीं करता।
It's going to be a big help in pushing this forward, but heals come through for Mori now, and he should be able to pick up this left-hand side. Super goes in, last call going to miss, but actually gets the shot thanks to the connection. And these men didn't do a lot at all, trying to find the pathway through, but the interception's there again, and they say no. Meow, the last one survived, but it's just Gero, and I don't think he can do it alone.
He mind controls him. He gets the ball away, and for now, they're still safe. Incredible plays again from Zeta in this defense. Overtime's gonna be coming.
भाई उसने उसको मार के उसका कंट्रोल लिया और बोले ले चल भाई, बॉल ले चल उधर।
Might be where we settle this one.
He's surely going to be able to trade out Mori there as well, and if they can get a super, then they might have been able to make something happen, but now he actually pops himself back into that long range form, and gets the kill.
अरे फेंक के जा अपना भालू, फेंक के जा नल्ले।
Down now, survives on 24. Crowburn doesn't get him down, and he has this bear. It's going to be a big help with a slow on to Naui, and surely he falls. Gets the shot over his left-hand side instead, and now the bear comes down, trying to walk up behind it. Shield pops as well. Fofur being used, just wants this ball back. Trying to get a super there for Naui, but the shot is not going to go through, and the ball goes back in the corner, but Miel's still on a bit of a tear here, and Gero pushing the left-hand side, not getting a lot done, and super avail from him now, but it's just too little too late.
ओ भाई क्या बात है।
Seconds left, and it's gonna be Reply Totem was perhaps the last chance of this game to score. They're playing it safe so far, as now he actually jumps in, a pass back to Gero. He has super. Is he gonna mind control? Is he gonna go for a charge shot? So far, it's
ये
Mari is gonna
जी
be
जी
slotted in as Zeta Division take this 3-1 victory and lock in their spot for the grand finals
ग्रैंड फाइनल्स।
this year.
I mean, they just want this finals again. They want 4 monthly final wins, and they made it all the way to be able to battle it out for that totem. Defeated, and they look defeated as well. Definitely not as happy as they usually are on those cameras, and understandably so after that loss. Mind control defeat by the Willow there. It's a difficult way to lose, but at the end of the day, what a defense it was from Gero to keep them in that game to start with, and then to be able to finish it off in the end as well. He really was the MVP, especially through that Brawl Ball set.
Yeah, absolutely. So
हैट्रिक की जीटा ने।
fantastic performance.
वाओ।
I love how we criticized the Willow pick a little bit, and I think that for the most part, Barley is the stronger pick on this map. But Gero, I mean, played that Willow wonderfully well. Look at that one. Like, that was some gorgeous stuff from him in this set, and it's not the easiest to do, especially when you are facing a Barley yourself. Barley doesn't need to land his shot; he just needs to lock down the area. If you walk into it, you will take the damage. It doesn't work the same way for a Willow. So the fact that he was able to shine so much is so impressive. And I mean, you know, the final nail in the coffin there as he mind controls Mari to score against his own team. Mari that had a wonderful set here as well. 222 damage, 11 kills, but it wasn't the kills that mattered the most here. It was getting those goals in, and Zeta were just able to find a couple more.
I mean, Zeta just played that so well. They waited for the moment, and they were under a lot of scrutiny for pretty much the entire game, but in the end they came out on top, and that's what really matters. Regardless of all the kills that Reply Totem managed to get, regardless of all the control they had, if they're not getting the goals, they're not winning, and that's what Zeta Division do.
वो जो क्वेश्चन आएंगे उसके आंसर बताओ मुझे, तो
See the wins.
मैं उससे जल्दी कंप्लीट कर पाऊंगा। अरे पहले जाके एमवीपी चूज क्यों नहीं किया?
It's gonna be on
मेरा तो हो गया, इसलिए मैंने टाइम्स अप हो गया।
just a kind of
एमवीपी चूज करते जाओ, 100 पॉइंट्स तो वैसे ही मिल जाते हैं।
fantastic series as well. It was really a team effort. I mean, Knockout as well, you know, was every single player from Zeta Division shining and getting so much work done. So I'll still take him as the MVP for this one. And overall, I mean, a fantastic series for our first semifinal.
Yeah, I mean, we couldn't have asked for a better game, could we really? As I've said multiple times, that's a finals caliber game, and even at that, it's a world finals caliber game, you know, between these two teams. They're the two best teams in the region at the moment, and I'm sad we didn't really get to see them meet in the finals, but we'll see who is going to meet them in the finals throughout this next game. But Zeta Division have successfully made it to the finals of this region. A&R versus SK Gaming is going to be up next, and it's going to be an absolutely phenomenal one as well. We saw A&R take down Foot Esports, which is a big decisive match. A&R trying to catch up with Foot Esports at the moment for that race for the world final spot. And SK and Humble, it's more of the same. They're in the race as well. Humble got cut short, but SK Gaming, they still have a chance.
वोट कर दो भाई पहले तो जाके, किस टीम को चूज कर रहे हो?
To play against Foot Esports, they got what they wanted. They got the victory as well. I don't remember them tweeting they wanted to play against SK, so we'll see how that one goes.
एसके को चूज कर लेते हैं.
Just because of the
SK.
against Foot, and I don't know. I feel like this could be their month to make it to the grand finals once more.
Yeah, the thing is, ANR actually tweeted they wanted to play against Humble because of the reverse sweep that Humble managed to get on them last month. They wanted a bit of revenge, so I think they're quite sad that SK Gaming managed to pull through. We all know what Rama's like on Twitter, and if you don't, here's his act. Go and follow him. It's quite entertaining to see, along with Nob and Mebius on his roster. They really have been playing very, very well all year long, and up there with a few of the best teams. They're one of the only teams who has the capability of taking a team like Zeta down. We saw it in SPS, and we might be able to see it through the finals today. But SK Gaming again are standing their way first.
Yeah, SK Gaming, a very, very strong roster as well. Not necessarily the loudest roster this year. I mean, they lost Semantic, so I mean, that is gonna keep the noise levels in check. But Ikeos, Yoshi, and Ope, fantastic roster overall, and able to finally get some success this year after a very slow start to the year. They're in a much better place now, and they showed that early against Humble. Surely gonna be showing to do the exact same now against ANR.
Yeah, surprising. It's weird to not see them sat around the table, the SK Gaming table, where they usually are month in, month out for their monthly finals bootcamp. But this time we're seeing Yoshi at home, so I imagine probably the whole roster is as well. And you've got to question it if or not that it's going to help or hinder them a little bit more. Obviously,
मेरे तो आज 2000 भी हो गए तो काम बन जाए, पर 3000 पॉइंट्स करने की कोशिश करूंगा. उसके लिए रात वाली स्ट्रीम भी देखना पड़ेगा तुमको, 10:30 बजे जो है. वैसे कल सुबह भी है ना, आई गेस, मुझे याद नहीं है.
At the moment, they showed in the monthly finals as well that they can go very far into those brackets and take down any of the top teams, but they have yet to get that all precious victory, that success that they've been striving for all year long. I'm saying all year long as if they were new from this year. Obviously, all of those guys have been competing for years now.
Come on, do make sure to drop a like and subscribe.
Been at their peak mechanically, and with some clever drafts and a bit of a big ego as well here and there. They're definitely a scary team to face because you don't know what to expect.
Just a bit of a big ego. I think that's. I think you're dialing it down a little bit there, Teddy. If you see him on Twitter, you know he's got a massive ego, and that's just how it is. He has a massive ego for anybody else knowing. I know that's rich coming from me, but Rama on Twitter, it's just different, all right? That's just how it is. It's just different. A little bit scary to see, and I'm sure SK Gaming are going to want to, put a bit of a cork in it, because he does talk a lot. And here we see Yoshi giving a bit of a homage to his. I guess he's still the fourth player, right? But at the end of the day, he's not really playing anymore.
No, he's been on the bench for a bit now, focusing more on content creation, but he's been with the team for the longest time as well, and in SK's greatest moments too. But he's always there if they need him to sub in. Are not expecting to see him have any playtime tonight, as we should be getting into our draft soon enough. I mean, what else to say here but that SK, they would love to get a grand finals appearance once again. They've been a bit shy this year, but the year is not over until the end of the day, and they still have a chance here to make it to grand finals and maybe even win their first monthly final of the year.
Well, Teddy, we predicted a little bit differently this time. I went for SK, you went for ANR, and obviously you were right throughout the last one, and me and Ark were wrong, so I'll give you that. But at the same time, why do you think that ANR are kind of the top dogs coming into this one? Because I feel as of recent, SK Gaming have been looking pretty solid, and that's kind of why I sided with that.
Well, I think it's a very even match, in all fairness. I predicted, according to my level of how scared I am of those teams, and I can already see a post of all of us predicting against ANR and ANR winning the monthly final, and I just can't see that. I just want to take that away from them. So I'm predicting in our own safety here. I'm taking one for the team. I think that SK is still the favorite for this one. ANR definitely got their chances though, but I'm avoiding just the controversies. I'm keeping us safe.
Teddy's predicting A&R because he's scared of Rama. That's the first. That's the first I've seen for someone predicting. But bans are in. We're heading on to Infinite Doom. My favorite map. Definitely not being sarcastic with that. Poco, Bonnie, and the Squeak from the side of A&R. SK Gaming going to ban out the Squeak, the Cordelius, and the Shelly. So I think it's pretty clear to see, even without seeing on the screen, who's got the first pick after seeing those bans. But Crow's going to be the first from A&R, and we love a bit of Crow here.
Yeah, you can give me 5 bounty quests. I'm still not going to be playing on Infinite Doom. Lovely bans across the board. Not bad at all. Taking out some of those very dangerous brawlers here. I'm thinking particularly of the Cordelius as well as the Shelly picks that can just be really, really up close and personal and dangerous. Tara is going to be the follow-up pick here. Don't mind it at all. The pushes are going to be great for her kit and get that mobility, and obviously the pulls as well. I kind of love as well how Gina's fallen off slowly across the last year or so, and we've been seeing more and more Tara to replace them.
Imagine with Prashant.
To pull and turn around games. So
Tomorrow third match. Yeah.
really good addition here to their roster, as they'll go for the Brock as well for the wall breaks, and more often than not on this map, actually push breaks to just, you know, make sure you have information on your opponents if they push up.
That's the thing, I feel like it's a little bit, contradicting. Going with the Tara who wants to fly under the radar in those bushes, get some pulls out of nowhere, and then Brock who's going to completely tear all the bush down. I suppose against the Crow, you don't really want the bushes to be there because of the scouting ability that Crow does have, and Amber obviously burning the bushes down as well. So A&R kind of adding to what Brock's already going to be doing and breaking up a lot of the map. I think that might help them out a bit if they can manage to duke this Brock out, and or if they do choose to take in something a little bit longer range. But at the same time, I love the Brock. I just think that the Amber return picks, it works quite often.
Yeah, I like it as well. I mean, it's going to be very efficient just at taking down those bushes, and that is kind of the name of the game on Infinite Doom. Similarly to Double Swoosh.
कल आने का शायद 2:30 AM को है सो जाओ तो फिर
Or did you remove
2:30 AM को कौन नीचेगा
the equation? And best 3 is going to be more the terror. And the
बोल तो आज रात को ही है ना 2:30 AM तो रात को ही हो गया
get in range of a pull.
आज रात को ही हो गया फिर तो
Gotta be careful himself about how he places himself and how he plays around the little cover that there is on the map.
Yeah, we'll see if he does manage to do it, but, the same with Amber. Like, you're going to be burning the bushes down. I don't know why we're kind of going something...
इसी बात पे जोर से बोलो जय माता दी ब्रो जय माता दी
A lot of the ideas that A&R
जय श्री राम बोलना ठीक है भाई जय श्री राम
great spot, because Crow's not going to be able to use his scouting. His range isn't as long as that, as long as the Brock or the B, and obviously the spawners can come in from the Tara as well.
I don't know which side to
वो साउथ
when it comes to the...
एशिया का 10:30 पर है
I like some of the ideas on both.
तो जहाँ कहीं भी है साउथ अमेरिका का होगा
Come out on top.
जहाँ कहीं का भी है देखो मजे करो अपने को क्या है अपने को तो बस
Execution here on both
पानी निकालना है
Some interesting ideas, but
Chalo.
also some similarities in the way they can both destroy some of those bushes, and already they have started the party. And they also both have pulls with the Tara and Buster, both having the ability to pull their opposition up close. And I mean, here we go. Okay, A&R. I mean, what an explosive start. Holy.
Yeah, I think we kind of got to see a little bit more from SK here, breaking up the map, and he has obviously got some gadgets left in hand as well. Nob's going to pick up his super though as well, thanks to Mebius staying in his vicinity, but there's the 42 HP, Mebius is low. Super should surely come in, but actually doesn't. Burn down damage of Crow's going to keep him quite low, but now the super comes in. Rama's falling so low, but actually survives out as well. Chaos needs to get him down here, or it's just going to get too far out of reach. There it is, and now the control's in SK's hands too.
we're back on बारिश
2 stars making the difference.
क्या बात बारिश करो बारिश
No, gonna try to get towards the super here. There are some big tags coming through, but Rama finds that chaos and extends the lead to 5 now. Ope flashing the pool, but not quite gonna commit to it just yet. They have some utility to work with. The Tara pool is there. The rocket rain is there for Yashi as well.
नुजा एम लो
Someone gets in range, they could get punished, but so far not quite able to find that connection. However, the wolves are going to be out of the picture or on the central area of their spawn, so less cover for them to work with.
Yeah, I feel like OP can surely pick this up with a double pull here and kind of go for it, but he's actually going to wait it out, just try and get a kill in the closing seconds, which is probably smart. Don't want to get hit by Crow here either, as he's going to get slowed down. There's the shot, and now the slow comes in. Doesn't actually get pulled in by... I didn't even know that was a mechanic, to be honest with you. You've got the super, it completely cancels out a Tara pull coming in on you.
ये तो मुझे भी नहीं पता था भाई. अगर ऐसे वो अपना कैमरा निकाल कर खड़ा हो जाता, सुपर यूज कर दिया तो पुल नहीं होता. ये तो मुझे भी नहीं पता था. ये भाई क्या बात है, बहुत बढ़िया, बहुत बढ़िया. ये तो नया पता चला भाई.
10 seconds and then suddenly there were 2 kills as well as a blue star, I believe, going the way of A&R. Lots of value all around, and the Buster being such a threat in the early game before those bushes get removed and even afterwards. I mean, how he played around that Tara pool, like, it's not very often that Tara pulls you and you're the one going away with a kill and your life.
यही तो सीखने मिलता है.
Much either, but the rattled hive coming out now from Chaos, just trying to...
और एक और चीज मुझे वो आज देखने को मिली, मैं ये नहीं करता था एक्चुअल में, कि जो बॉनी है अगर उसके ऊपर स्ट्रीक या कुछ भी अटैक हो भी गया है और उसने जंप मार दिया है तो भाई उसको कोई इफेक्ट नहीं होता है, उसको ना डैमेज पड़ता ना कुछ होता है.
5-0, and A&R now are the ones in a bad spot.
Great adaptation here. The pull will connect onto Rama, and that's going to be a kill. A follow-up as well from Chaos as he finds Mebius, and it's 9-0. We went from a dominant game for A&R to an even more dominant one for SK now.
9-0 is definitely not something that A&R expected to come into this game with. Rocket Rain goes over the top of that shield and gets some good damage in, but Ope just pushing forward, gets his super yet again, and now might be able to rotate over to this right hand side and get some shots in, but I'm sure maybe...
Oh भाई 30
even more burned down the pull.
बच गया.
Not going to get any connection. Slow down there from Ope, from Mebius as well, but actually takes a few throwing cards to the face in return.
108 भाई कितना लेगा. हाँ बस एक और गया. 13-0 भाई साहब. अब 15-0 हो गया है. एक तो मार लो रे, नाक कट जाएगी.
As well. What a performance from him, a jump in from Mebius, and I mean, they'll get their first...
फाइनली एक तो मार ही रही है.
Behind, 12 stars behind, rather.
I mean, 6 of those will come from Yoshi, and maybe they get a team wipe and a bit more, and they might be able to bring it back. And I'm not even counting out at this point, but they need to avoid dying at the same time as well. Nob's going to get one burn down onto Yoshi here, thanks to the shots from Mebius. A&R's not going to connect anything other than that. Mebius needs to survive this one out now. Shots coming through, and there is the finish.
20 हो गया.
21-7, and that is what we expect.
क्या सीखने मिला?
But A&R hold on.
अगर ये एक्स्ट्रा पॉइंट्स आपके आगे ट्रांसफर हो जाए, जब 4000 तक आ जाएगा तो फिर आपको तो कभी भी ये सब नहीं करना पड़ता. मैं तो इसलिए करता हूँ जो व्यूज आते हैं भाई, टाइम पास के.
SK to victory in this one. I think this
और किस लिए, कुछ करना नहीं, बैठ के देखो, मजे करो, सीखने को मिल जाता है.
They really want to get those early kills, early stars locked in and play off that, but Nob is taking so much damage already from the B. Needs to be very careful, and a second gadget already popped by Chaos, but no connections on that one.
That might have actually been his third. I'm not seeing any gadgets left from him
it is
or OP either.
Wow.
Yoshi's going to use all his gadgets as well. No more gadgets left for SK Gaming, and I'm sure quite a lot still in the bag for A&R. Bouncing back shots as well. Surprised they actually took some shots at him there, but at the same time, they're only 1 star up, so need to deflate some of this push, or as it could go bad for SK Gaming, and it is going to go bad for them. SK OP is going to pick up his pull, but not really getting anything in return for it.
Let's see if they can find something on the side of SK. I like that A&R pushed up, keeping some of that space that they managed to earn in a challenging way. The Tara pool is something they need to be very much aware of, as it could turn around the lead very quickly. It's only 1 start separating both teams, so a single kill will turn things around if it's not traded.
Yeah, you're going to have to think twice about pulling in here. Nob's not going to be able to get pulled in.
और उसको कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ा भाई.
Not even going to be damage pet on that one either. Now the lead's taken back and Nob overextended a little bit. I mean, not really a lot could be done because he needed to defend his 2 teammates who got pulled in. 3k.
Oh भाई 180 health.
He's all they need for a turnaround, but the pull comes in and that should be knocked down as well, and that extends the lead to 6.
Great situation here for SK. Rama gonna fall as well to the rocket rain from Yoshi. Nob up close, but still caught off guard by and a pull is gonna settle it here. 15 stars to 3 in favor.
एस्केविन
They'll take
समोसा के साथ नमक
I mean, I think
वाली हरी मिर्च खाना पसंद करते हैं। मैं खाता ही नहीं भाई,
a hefty lead
मैं समोसा खा लेता हूँ बस।
there. SK just looked better throughout the second two, so a big props to them for being able to take back this first.
इतने बड़े स्टेज पे क्रोच खेलने के लिए हट्स चाहिए। कौन से हट्स भाई? जो झोपड़ी की बात कर रहा है यार, ये क्या बात कर रहा है भाई?
Pull this one back because they
ऐसे वो गट्स की बात कर रहा है, लेकिन हम उसको हट्स ही पढ़ेंगे, समझे?
That really
हट्स लिखा है वो।
was very good from them. I was quite impressed actually by how dominant they looked. But games 2 and 3, a completely different story really. SK Gaming just reacting so nicely to A&R's game plan and able to counter it to near perfection. I mean, game 2 was perfect from SK Gaming. Game 3, just a little bit close, but still, I mean, 15 stars to 3, not exactly close.
Yeah, definitely not too close at all. And I mean, we saw some good stuff from the Buster, but I just don't know if that
बोलो जुबान केसरी
picked it to
बोलो जुबान केसरी गाइस, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
been a bit better, who could scout the bush and not
झोपड़ी लुल।
for the majority of the game. Looking at the stats, so 9-7,
अनुआ जिम कॉर्बेट
2-4-1 for the side.
कहाँ गया? जिम कॉर्बेट गया था क्या? मुझे तो नहीं लगता गया था।
Stats.
Yeah, absolutely. So, quite a statement in this opening set from SK Gaming. If we look past that first game, it was all SK, and that's going to be some nice momentum for them to carry on to set number 2. We'll have to see what A&R have in store for us to try to turn that around.
Well, we'll see if they are able to turn this one round. A&R, you know, they didn't look bad at all, to be fair. They looked pretty convincing considering, I think, the composition they had. I don't know if the Buster was really it. I think they looked pretty convincing, all things considered, but SK Gaming just drafted a little bit better in my eyes, and I think if they can carry on drafting like that going forward, they're going to be feeling pretty fine to be able to take down A&R here, especially if they keep on drafting the way they are as well. And Rama starting
रिटायरिंग डे, वाह।
position right now because, you know, they do want to go to the finals. They're still fighting out for this last world spot. SK, A&R, for all fighting it out and already defeating Foot today. If they can defeat another one of their opponents who are running for this position, they're going to be feeling good.
घूमी करने का जाओगे बार बार तो टायरिंग डे तो रहेगा ही।
Some longer range hot zone action, although it can still get close and messy in those bushy areas. And we
मैसी 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 मैसी।
found a water slide as we head into set number 2, and a chance for a fresh start for A&R was just, yeah, I kind of agree with you, just wasn't quite the draft they were hoping for.
आज सुबह 3 कॉपीराइट क्लेम्स आए, ठीक है।
As
एक फॉल गाइस का है, आप खुद ही सोचो, फॉल गाइस खेले हुए जमाना हो गया, उसमें से एक ने भेजा, ठीक है। उसके बाद फिर एक फोर्टनाइट के अंदर आया, अब वो किस लिए आया पता नहीं, लेकिन फिर भी मैंने हटा दिया।
You know, it does a decent
कौन माथा पच्ची करेगी, नहीं हटाओ इसको, ये तो गेम का पार्ट है, तो ये है, तो वो है।
band out.
और एक और चीज में है,
Sam still remains and he is up there as well, so wouldn't really mind.
फोर्टनाइट हो गया,
Who doesn't have the biggest
फॉल गाइस हो गया, और एक और किसी में आया भाई,
got to take some
समझ में ही नहीं आया मुझे क्यों ही आया है, क्यों ही आया है।
surprising brawls to come out. We'll see if A&R do choose to kind of switch things up and go a little bit more aggressive.
एसटी जीतेगी, वोटिंग परसेंटेज देख के भी बता सकते हैं, हमें पता भी कि एसटी जीतेगी लुल।
Get a lot of capability
Wow.
of countering this out.
Yeah, it is an interesting approach. I mean, I don't necessarily hate it, but as you said, I kind of don't know how much I like it this early into the draft. Might be revealing A&R's hand a little bit, but it seems like they have a plan that they're going to go Lou paired with it.
भालूरेंट
Not sure
ना, भालूरेंट में नहीं आया भाई, कोई ऐसी नल्ले गेम में आया था।
bad, but it's not really something that like I would, you know, imagine being paired with an early.
अभी 3-4 दिन में कौन कौन सा गेम खेला था,
So I'm
उसी में से किसी में आया था।
scared going to be dealing with this draft.
Yeah, well, I'm liking the loop pick a lot more than I'm liking the poker, I'll tell you that, but we'll see if SK can bounce back, you know, it kind of prevents him from taking the tank or something like that out of their hands because of how good Lou is at kind of defending against those things. But Lola's going to come in, and obviously Ego and Freeze Frame can do a good job of tanking quite a lot of these Lou shots, and they're kind of playing the range game as well to stay out of having to just run in a straight line at this Lou and feeder. So I don't mind that pick from SK. It's been a bit of a while since we've seen some Lola, especially in a map like this, but I still don't hate it.
I prefer the draft from SK so far. But we still have one pick left for each, and those could make quite a bit of a difference. They're gonna go for the Cordelius, which I think is a really, menacing pick. We did see it
घाटिक
down earlier today.
नहीं, घाटिक वाटिक में नहीं है कुछ, ऐसी गेम था
Down A&R, they have
शायद बजमी में आया था, जिसमें आया था याद नहीं है।
good matchups or counters.
स्टार्टिंग के कुछ मिनट्स के था,
I mean, if they were considering going
देखना पड़ेगा यार। ठीक है ना, प्रोसेस हो गया होगा अभी तक, तो
he's in the shadow.
हटा दिया मैंने।
Yeah, it's a bit difficult now. Now I'm going to go with the Grey. A little bit of a TP in. I feel like that was kind of them who were lacking the DPS rather than anything else. Poco and Grey, not the most DPS, and not that they're against anything tanky, but they've got some aggression coming in with the Cordelius. And if you can just take, even a single one of these brawls out of the equation, something like a Poco out of the equation, or a Lu when he's got that super, it can definitely make a big difference for the overall game.
Yeah, this is a weird draft.
हेलो राजदीप, कैसे हो?
Just no synergy between the brawlers at all. It's a weird one, for sure. I mean, I really want to side with SK with their comp, but I'm hoping that A&R have something to show with this comp.
हाँ, हो सकता बजमी ही होगा, और क्या पता।
I'm convinced, at least not in the drafting stage.
So what was it too early on? That's a great walking cane through, and now Chaos just trying to get some shots again. Thanks to that residue still being there. Medius quite low as well, but actually getting some good percentage on the zone. Not really got a lot of backup. Usually be the person in the back lines, not the front lines, but this time it's working quite well for him. Brahma's going to get a super early on, and Ope just trying to slot back into this mix, but actually gets caught on those breakable boxes.
He's going to be placed down in the zone, which I kind of like. Quick access in, but also quick access out if things get out of hand. Not quick enough for Rama, though, as he goes down, and now will be TPing back in, getting some more percentages as well. Trying to take care of that ego, but there's going to be another one placed down already. Shadow Realm now as well. And Ope is going to get out of it and jump around and might even find a follow-up here onto Rama. Rama gets him to 1 HP, but they trade each other out. It's still a slim lead in favor of A&R. With both players low, that heal from Mebius is going to have to come out eventually. And this would be the time for it. He is going to pop it eventually. Rama has super, but can't use it because Ope doesn't let him. And so far, I mean, A&R, they have the lead percentage-wise, but they've just lost every single bit of control they had.
Yeah, but that TP still remains. Not really letting him get to it, though, and Ope's very close to being stunned, but manages to avoid really nicely thanks to the speed that he's getting from it. Maybe he's going to go in, Nob gets the TP in as well. Ope having to retreat and come back. Not going to reach him, though, and actually gets frozen out there as well, and now it's A&R in their backlines, but it's Yoshi on the zone. Nob's eventually going to come back, but the heal keeps him in it. The ego's placed down, but no freeze for him just yet. It's actually close, 20% in it, and Ope's going to drag Nob into that Shadow Realm.
I am so confused by this A&R comp, and so confused that it's working so well. Really, I mean, I didn't really think of the TPs being such a great way to just get towards that zone and then get healed up and just overstay your welcome, really. But they still need 5%, and SK have been catching up, not with a walking cane, not gonna connect. Mebius is in the zone though, has a heal as well, and that's
GG's।
A&R pick up the first game. But just like they did in
भोपाल मेट्रो खुली गया, अभी नहीं,
games.
अभी तो काम ही चल रहा है।
After seeing that, it just I didn't know what I was watching at that point. It was just so scrappy. It was running in over and over again, and it was just working for A&R. I mean, the Poco, it's not like he's got anybody in front.
ईयरफोन कौन सा ऑर्डर किए हो, नाम बताओ। अरे नॉर्मल लिए हैं, ये तो है।
At the same time, it just seemed like maybe Otis wasn't doing.
जो मैं पहले यूज कर रहा था, वो बोट के वायर्ड वाले।
He's going to be taking very low HP, and Ope takes him down. Walking King connects, but Ope
क्या नाम था, बास हेड ऐसा कुछ नाम था।
a sticky residue on the left side.
हाँ, बोट
Mid for A&R.
बास हेड्स 2
Right hand side, another walking
2 to 5।
going in and gets the kill, but is out of gadgets now.
Yeah, well, it's a bit of a lead this time for SK. Nothing A&R can't come back from, though. They're just waiting this loose super out and trying not to feed another in the meantime. Yoshi's going to use his super, not make any connections, but OP just trying to make a push forward. Gets his super and surely going to be pushing towards maybe as if 3 mushrooms picked up, jump over and say hello to these shots. Got another one as well. Drags Rama into the realm this time, and Nob's going to go down over the other side as well. Great stuff from OP. Needs to cycle here and not let Rama place his super down. Does just that. And now it's Mebius' turn, surely. But this time, OP might actually fall. Retreats nice though and survives it out.
Mebius will fall eventually, and A&R is still a bit behind. As I said earlier, it's nothing they can't come back from. But as we get closer and closer to the finish line, they might not have the time to do so. As SK are still in the zone, are still a threat, and Mebius will get out of the Shadow Realm. Thankfully for him, he is behind cover, he is safe. Nope is chasing Rama now. We'll eventually get the kill onto him as well. Mebius will fall to Yoshi. And it's looking like SK are in a really good position to take this game.
Another super as well, and Ope's just cycling. This time he's played it so much better in the first. I question it, but in this one it's so much better.
हमारे आए हैं मस्त है, एक जगह से दूसरी बहुत जल्दी पहुंचा देती है। एनआर इतने टट्टी कॉम से कैसे जीत गई भाव। भाई एनआर जीत रही है भाई साहब।
I don't know if it was intentional, but regardless, SK Gaming running away with this one, even though A&R are not that far behind.
अरे भाई
A miracle here. Nob does FTP, goes for 1, and they might still stand a chance.
भाई साहब इतना क्लोज कैसे जा सकता है ये। 93, 95, 95, 97, 98, 9 ओ
Final fight.
जी जी ये जीत गई भाई।
And
उसको खुद को यकीन नहीं होगा ये भाई ये जीत कैसे गए वे।
seen in a hot minute.
क्या था, क्या चल रहा है ये।
I don't know how he's managed it. SK just looked so solid throughout both of those games and somehow didn't manage to win either of them. I felt like the Cordelia
Wow.
start of that one was really
क्या
good.
बात।
Ope was doing a great job in that second game. First one not so much, and then towards the end of the second game,
1-1 हो गया भाई स्कोर।
old ways and kind of not be, fighting in those backlines, dragging people out of important fights, and I feel like that was the issue. We do see NR even.
क्लोज मैच था।
This is going to be a difficult one.
क्लोज हो ना हो बस यही है भाई।
Won that one, and they just didn't.
They had some good chances, but somehow A&R made that comp work. And they did that with quite a bit of grace as well. Beautifully done. Good way to strike back as well and shut down that forward momentum that SK had built up after that opening set that was so favorable to them.
हेलो मृणाल कांत पाठक।
Risk like that is going to keep paying off for A&R. I mean, I'm saying keep. The Buster on Infinite Doom did not pay off, but their weird comp here did. So
भाई
first you're gonna have
15
holy open
15
kills on his part. That wasn't enough apparently.
But the thing is, right, that's what Cordelia should be doing. That's exactly how it should be played. It's kind of just like 15 1v1s that he's managed to win that just don't really have an effect on the rest of the game at the right times. It's definitely a great performance, but at the same time, it just wasn't enough for SK to.
अभी जैम ग्रैब यस।
Definitely.
हेलो 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 हेलो
In gem grab and
माइक्रोफोन टेस्टिंग हेलो हेलो।
time rarely drops out of that competitive map pool, so should be pretty confident for both of these teams, and this one's got to be a decision maker.
Let's see what they got in mind here for this draft. As we'll be seeing the first pick on the side of A&R, and they'll go for a tower immediately. The bans for A&R were Nita, Poco, and Carl. SK Gaming taking out Squeak, Cordelius, and Shelly. Across the board, like those bans, again, SK have been quite consistently banning out Cordelius and Shelly on those bushier maps, those maps where you tend to see more flanks, or Embrace It, as we saw in the previous set was the Cordelius, even though that didn't work out. I mean, I don't think the Cordelius was necessarily the problem. Let's say, as Ruffs is...
आज ये भी एक भी एपिसोड नहीं देख पाया वन पीस का अभी तक। वाओ वेरी डेंजरस। मेरा एमएचए कंप्लीट हो गया, अभी मैं फिलहाल डीमन स्लेयर देखता हूँ।
picks on these maps, we see
आई वॉच डीमन स्लेयर।
Crow both have a pretty bad matchup against the rough, so I like it. We'll see the 8-bit as well. My favorite gem carrier here so far, I mean, SK Gaming is making me really happy.
Yeah, I mean, if he can't play Rico, he's going to play something else that can bounce around the walls as well. I like the Ruff's pick, but Gray's going to come in next from A&R. Obviously back to their last pick now. But we still need something in the mid. I don't think...
This is only subs that I hate most. Wow.
Wouldn't be really that much of a...
Wrong हो गया क्वेश्चन. अरे.
With the Sam and actually play that Gray through the mid. I don't mind the Sam, but it's going to feed Ruffs a lot of supers. They're just going to make sure that he doesn't...
मेरे को तो जब टाइम मिलता है मैं देख लेता हूँ बस.
Well, that's going to be some good aggression. Where's that, Sam? Looking forward to watching that. And we have a final pick from SK Gaming to try to solidify their draft, make it as Sam-proof as they can. In a couple seconds, we'll see their decision on that. And there goes Spike, which has been a pretty traditional Sam counter. But even then, I mean, Sam has a lot of HP. Will heal it up quickly as well, and if he manages to hit his super against the Spike, that's still going to be taking about 60% of his health away, so not sure if that's going to be enough. They do have some good damage. 8-bit deals a good bit of damage as well, and they have some wall break as well, but overall
Tabish Ali class
played well. The Sam here
11th B. भाई अपनी प्रोफाइल देखिए आओ. मेरी प्रोफाइल भाई एक्सक्लेमेशन मार्क आईडी लिख दो, आपको मिल जाएगी प्रोफाइल मेरी. 9U982RU9 दैट इज माय कोड. यूज करके आप देख सकते हो. अच्छा तो तुम मेरे फ्रेंड लिस्ट में हो भाई. तबिश ही तो था ना एक फ्रेंड लिस्ट में.
Yeah, this is a really solid start here from A&R. Every gem that's been spawned has been in their pocket. Eventually, OP does find Knob, so that's a little bit of a light here for SK Gaming, and that's going to help as well that they have a damage booster now available as well, and they lose a gem carrier. Rama out of position, gets punished heavily, and suddenly every single gem is on SK's pocket.
Yeah, Nob's going to go down as well. Rama trying to make a fight in this mid here versus Yoshi. He's just going to retreat, fall back. He doesn't really mind if he loses that turret. He's got another in hand anyway. Maybe he's coming down this left-hand side and just trying to let Nob play out in a little bit of an easier matchup against that Russ. And he does get the control, same as last time. Pull comes through, going to get the spike down, but I'm not sure if that's really worth it. Yoshi alone now might go down, and Sam picks him up. Can he get out, though? Obe's surely going to be able to wipe him straight out here, and does just that. But now he's got 8 gems, and he's not the person who wants them.
Yeah, it's quite a squishy brawler to carry them as well, and doesn't really have any mobility to work with. Does have fertilizer that could come in handy. The Knob is going to get melted down by Ope. So far doing a really good job. A TP back to safety.
अरे कितने बार यहाँ से वहाँ भाई.
But not enough apparently to get that kill, and it's going to be a countdown locked in by SK Gaming. 15 seconds for A&R to interrupt it, but they already lost Knob, and this push is quickly deflating.
Yeah, Rama gets taken down as well there, and SK Gaming trying to answer back now after losing that last set and after such a bad start.
GG's.
Dropped them all.
नए बैजेस कब बना रहे हो? टाइम मिलेगा तो जरूर बनाएंगे. Main account will divide, not this one. You have a account that have 100k trophies. I want that account ID. वो मैं नहीं देता किसी को, इसलिए बताया ना. 100k ट्रॉफीज हैं तो कम से कम 1-2 करोड़ रुपए दे तब तो कोई अकाउंट दूं भाई. ऐसे सबको पता चल जाएगा.
Take back that set advantage and put A&R in a threatening position once more. Early on, first 2 gems will be picked up by A&R. Makes sense. They don't have as long a setup time. They don't need a damage booster to really be that implicated in the mid fight. But now that it's available for SK, it's going to be something very strong for them to play around with.
Yeah, well, Nob going to push down his left-hand side, make some great moves now. The turret's low, gets the takedown on both of them. And Yoshi managed to clean up, but Walking came through there, didn't do too much because those walls can't be broken, but he TP'd out. I was so confused if he just TP'd in and got melted. I was like, what just happened? But now Nob's going to TP in. Mebius behind him as well, gets the TP through, but instantly melted off the map. Pretty close, but Nob's going to go down, and now it's a 3v1, and Rama not in a good spot.
Yeah, definitely not much you can do from there either, and another rough gadget in the final one. Gonna be buying some extra time as well. A nice gem lead for SK Gaming. And so far this round from ANR not paying off. They might be able still to change things around, not trying to stay alive, create some space for his teammates to catch up gem-wise, and eventually they're only a couple behind, but with two that spawn in the mid, now SK suddenly back at 9 and 1 away from a countdown.
Chaos gonna be able to drop this straight on Nob's face there, but doesn't actually get it off. And Mebius has got 1 gem, and that's all they need for them to start this countdown. But Nob's behind, maybe over-aggressing a little bit there. Steps out line and gets taken down, but Rama gets 7, needs a TP and gets a TP. Not now having to use it as he retreated forward. Oh, the TP comes in from Mebius, and the cheat cartridge away from Yoshi. Beautiful defense from him and a great bait out, but it's still as close as ever. 9-8, they've kind of got to stay in the mid.
It was a good attempt, but they need the next 2 gems here. And they actually will be losing 2 players. That's just not possible anymore. The next one will spawn. Yoshi surely will pick it up. And this is a disaster for ANR as
GG's, good one.
this game and set. They're 1 ahead now and 1 step closer to the grand final.
अपडेट पैच पड़े और ट्विटर वाला अभी तो नहीं पड़ा.
One set, as you say, it's
ट्विटर वाले एलशिकी से आईटी की रेड लेके घर तक पहुंच जाएंगे.
time if ANR win 2 in a row, they'll
लाइक कॉर्बेट. हाँ भाई लाइक कॉर्बेट यार, तुम लोग लाइक नहीं करते.
bit of aggression for both these teams, and we know ANR like to play that aggressive game.
When you made your first video,
SK just
2011.
after the first, Rama started strong. He had
गोल्डीरॉक ओरिजिनल्स पे जाओगे तो एक तो बड़ा ही होगा.
Yoshi
मैं
go
उस टाइप की वीडियो बनाता था पहले, टैग टाइप की समझ लो.
really saw much from ANR at all after that.
Yeah, we really didn't. And a lot of ANR's drafts have been very risky. SK Gaming playing more responsive and trying to adapt. And so far, doing a really good job at it as well. As ANR, they tried the Buster, it didn't work. They tried the Sam, it didn't work. Didn't manage to make the Poker work earlier. But I don't know if, you know, playing in such a coin toss way is going to be paying off if they do it again. Let's see in just a little bit what kind of direction they're going to go towards, if they want to try to play something a bit safer, a bit more traditional, because I mean, even though Nob did get
आपको इतने क्वेश्चंस हैं, आप हमारा जाके Q&A देख लीजिए, आपको वहाँ पे A to Z के सारे क्वेश्चन मिल जाएंगे.
player kill count on the side of SK Gaming was
1-1.5 घंटे का वीडियो है,
open.
जाओ. वैसे इतना लंबा नहीं है. छोटू है, जाओ जाके देख लो, उसमें ऑलरेडी सारे सवालों के जवाब हैं.
Because that is a great performance from him. Heading on to pit stop in Heist now. Very offensive mode, and I feel like that can help ANR out of this tough spot. Quite a fair amount, as they are usually quite an aggressive team, as we've just seen in that last one. Not playing the Sam. If you can play something similar, a tank or something like that, then they're going to be all right. But SK, if they can play their defensive game with a little hint of aggression in there, I think they'll be fine too.
अरे वो स्केलेटन वाला एक आया था ना बंदा जो रोस्ट करता था स्केलेटन से. कौन था वो, कहाँ गया? जिंदा है या फिर गया?
Work and
फेमस तो बहुत हुआ था
Eater.
अब, लेकिन दिखता ही नहीं है.
Bans were Carl Edgar as well, which is worth pointing out. And probably that we pretty much only see in pit stop at the moment, as well as of course the Rico, which has always been quite decent here. And we'll see the Dynamite actually. Barley was banned, but Dyna is a really good option here as well. Can deal a lot of damage on safe as
अभी गॉडलेस बैन किया.
action and some mobility. So I definitely like it, and I want to see how SK Gaming play that one out.
Yeah, we'll see if they manage to make something happen with it. I do like the Dynamite here. I think it's up there. We saw it played earlier. I think it was by Reply Totem and maybe in their first game, and it worked an absolute treat for them. So we'll see if KS then. SK can do the same. M's going to come in.
एसटी का मैच पॉइंट.
I do some tanks further on down the line, and with Bonnie as the first,
ये
they're going to need some tanks to go along.
मृणाल कांत पाठक हमारे ओरिजिनल चैनल पर पहुंच चुके हैं.
But we'll see if ANR continue this on.
Aims to shut down any aggressive ideas. A super as well can definitely help keep some control around some areas of the map. Play around those walls nicely.
Ooh.
But tank
मनु क्या खा रहे हो डिनर में?
down just yet, as we'll see another Sam.
डांट खा रहा है वो डांट
I mean,
तुम खाओगे
bad in
खा लो इससे की डांट
Let's see if it can do a better job now here in Heist.
Maybe a buzz might come down, something like that. A little double down on the tanks, or maybe SK will go for that on their side if it's not taken by A&R. Buzz is usually quite good on a map like this, or possibly another tank as well that can do well against that. Daryl going to come in from A&R, double down on the tanks and triple down on the aggression for when that Bonnie's got the super. SK Gaming need to find an answer to this kind of
चिल्ली पनीर और रोटी
primo or something like that.
हो गया
That's
क्या
gonna
बात
with quite a lot of tanks quite well, but Nob, if he gets the damage down on Primo, going to be
तो
absolutely fine. Or if they'll
चिल्ली चिल्ली अलग कर दिया पनीर पनीर खा जाऊंगा एक पीस सोन पापड़ी भी थी वाओ वेरी डेंजरस
Go for Primo or a Buzz, but I mean, yeah, they kind of are playing against their own Shelly band there, really. They took it out of the equation, but it would have been wonderful to have here. Colette is going to be their pick. Does good against tanks, not necessarily the easiest to use against the Sam that can just constantly heal up. But, and the Daryl shield is still going to be somewhat of a problem. But they can put in some work. This is going to be a fun one for sure, very dynamic.
हमारे घर बने हैं शाही पनीर वाह वाह
saw
नहीं नहीं वाह
APAC we saw Colette come through, and it was played with push it back, and it just worked really well against some of the tanks that they managed to bring in. So we'll see if it's able to do more of the same in this one here. Now, Nob playing down this left-hand side. OP's got this double down on tanks, and if Colette gets unsafe, it's not going to do too much. But Dynamite is stun comes through, he gets the shots in, and now it's
शाही पनीर मीठा मीठा लगता है
through, and Yoshi
वो तो है
shots across here.
हो गया था खाना राजदीप
Defense for SK. I think, did they leave someone up on safe, or did they clean it up? Great stuff from Yoshi to clean that.
वैसे राजदीप तो कोलकाता से है
Taken down
वहां तो मीठा चल जाए
now, but it's taken down.
गुजरात में भी चल जाएगा भाई
On save is not something you can just ignore.
Yeah, Dyna has so much damage available to him. A bit of a mistake, I think. I mean, if they manage to all survive, oh no, the miss jump as well from Mebius. That's gonna be very annoying. I mean, he still manages to get some good damage on safe in all fairness, but eventually everyone gets cleared up and it's only Rama left alive, and he's taking a lot of damage as well. Ikea taking him down and playing some really good dynamite so far.
इंदम नहीं चलत बानी
Scared.
Why you do not make any videos from 9 months in original channel?
Beautiful.
अबे लैग का होने लगा
He's going to be burned down by this super. Super from Yoshi as well, and now Dyna's on safe.
रुको भाई लैग का होने लगा है
Nob's just going as well. He's leaving the M's and Dyna on safe. I think maybe he's either accepting defeat or accepting that Mebius are going to be able to defend this one for the.
अभी ठीक है
Maybe a questionable decision there, but Rama's just going to go, and he's not going to get far.
Yeah, interesting decisions all around from A&R, to be honest. SK Gaming, so far, looking really good.
ओरिजिनल में अभी इसलिए नहीं डालते कुछ आइडिया अच्छा आएगा तो डालेंगे
100% left on their save. If the dynamite gets anywhere close
तेरे को हर चीज नल्ली लगती है पर तू खुद एक
now,
बड़ा नल्ले है ये तो भूल जा रहा है
he walks in and secures that game. It's match point coming in for SK Gaming.
Well, I kind of feel like SK might have this now because they're looking exceptional throughout this one. And I mean, they do have massive counters, right? They've got M's and Colette again.
I like Bonnie's jump it's very funny
On top of that, and you're not really
funny very funny
just left Dyna on the safe so much. I feel like they've kind of got to keep someone locked down on him. But the question is, who?
Oh, Nob is out of the equation already. And Rama just waiting a bit to get his super. Yoshi not waiting around anymore, takes him down. Ikeos finds Nob. It's going to be a trade actually between them. And Yoshi was another one here. So far, wonderful stuff really from SK Gaming. They haven't managed to get any damage on safe yet. And actually Rama is going to be able to get some good damage now to give the lead to A&R. Just one roll on that save, 35%. That's brutal.
But I mean, Chaos is playing the diner of his life, the game of his life. No matter what, Ope's helping him out, just defending him, and that's what they need to do now. The stun onto Rama as well. They can just defend Chaos for the rest of the game. Surely slows there, but a good pinch from Mebius. Ope's just going to surely accept death here and go down. The super's there though, and the shot's coming through. Mebius going to jump straight out safe, but a defensive super from Chaos to push him into the grips of Ope. And now Chaos back in the same spot.
Tricky situation. Rama falls. It's going to be a 1-for-1 trade as he got the Dyna just beforehand. Nob is able to get the M's before going down himself to Yoshi.
ये 1% का डिफरेंस है भाई सिर्फ.
Making up the difference. That would have been more in line with the previous game if they just didn't let the Dyna roam freely around their safe for the first 30 seconds. But Chaos and Rama trade each other out, and it's crazy how good Chaos is playing on that Dynamite. Even when he
अबे 1%.
just please make a trade out of it.
Yeah, but I mean, if they just wait in this position, surely something can happen. All it takes is maybe it's just getting a jump and onto safe, and this is going to be an A&R game flipped, and it's already taking the lead now. They need damage.
1% का डिफरेंस अब इधर आ गया.
As well, he might just go for it. Someone's got to go aggressive. Someone's got to stay defensive to stop Mebius. But can they do it? The jump comes in. They're maybe just going to.
ओ भाई अब हुआ ना, अब डिफरेंस हुआ.
Take him down. Ope's got the slow, but Rama's going forward. Super available, but Chaos is down on safe. 10 seconds on the clock. Rama falls, but is someone still there? Mep's still there. He takes him down as well. Chaos still getting the damage. It's close.
अब 4% का डिफरेंस, 5% का डिफरेंस, 9% फाइनली.
The win in this one. Checking at the end there to make sure, but A&R stay alive.
Yeah, I had to check it on both screens just for safe measure. But it was A&R.
टू टैंक जो कॉल इट की सुपर की रेल. ये
A match point here. SK still a singular game away from
ये इमोट जो आपको मिला है उसमें कोई एनिमेशन है क्या? वो YouTube से ही नहीं है, कहाँ से मिलेगा?
trying to contest it, still trying to fight it. The heal not coming through in time though for Nob, and Yoshi is a gadget and follow-up super is going to be easily able to get that kill. Mebius trying to still get some value on safe here, and he will get some.
क्या बात?
22.
इस अब बॉनी ने भाई दिया, फटके दिए हैं.
Oh my goodness, so much damage from Nob. I believe on every single player from SK, but he only manages to take one down.
Yeah, Mep's getting some shots in now, but Chaos on safe, and this is what you've been doing, just trying to get up the map and focus on that safe. Super comes in from Yoshi, but a little bit too early on that one. Needed a couple more shots in. There's the shots though, and he does get a kill on that one. Nob's going to be slowed down, trying to stop him from getting his knuckle busters, but it doesn't matter because Ope stops him in his tracks, and Chaos going forward for some damage now. Maybe it's surely going to be doing the same, but actually quite low. Doesn't really want to risk it. Chaos going to get some damage on safe and make a little bit of a lead, but it's not much.
And those Dynamax Supers are a bit of a double-edged sword, as it is going to be opening up the map. Ope goes down, and that means a couple extra attacks from Mebius. He's willing to go down here. Just wants to empty his ammo. Rama goes in onto the safe as well, but Yoshi is able to
10% डिफरेंस
10% damage in favor
जो कि ऐसे ही खत्म हो गया.
for long. As SK Gaming have the Dyna on the safe, getting a 14% lead of their own. Rama stunned for what seemed to be forever. And right now, SK Gaming in control of their game. Rama being melted down, and Ikeo's now free to get some more shots on save. Gets his super down as well. 15% left. And Ope does go down. Mebius jumps into the save.
अरे जा, नॉब भाई क्या कर रहा है?
Looking to get some good value there too. 11% differential. But is that going to be enough here for SK? Or can they find a final push? What's going to happen here, Trav?
Rama's trying to go through. Chaos gets the takedowns. Rama's going to fall too. That's beautiful from SK. Chaos surely able to push up and just finish this one.
15%.
Can't even get up the map.
खत्म.
Into the finals. A&R are going.
फाइनल आ गया.
What a game by SK there as well.
It was a quiet start of the year for SK Gaming, and
ये चैंपियनशिप भी कोई आईपीएल मैच से कम नहीं, कभी भी
been consistent.
काया पलटी हो जाती है.
And today they are going to the grand finals against Zeta Division to try to win their first monthly final of the year. incredible stuff from SK Gaming. A&R not playing bad either. I think some of the drafts being a little bit out there, a little bit too much for me at least, and too much for the victory as well, it seems like today.
Yeah, I mean, A&R, they looked good through quite a lot of that, right? Considering the matchup they had, I think they played it quite well, all things considered. But at the end of the day, it might just be a bit too much for them to overcome Colette, Ems, even Dyna. They were just playing Protect the President with Chaos. They're just keeping him alive, letting him get the damage on safe. And I think that's kind of the uprise of SK in this one here, because they just did that so well. And you see, you know, there was a chance of an A&R comeback here, even towards the end. They got the kills, got the roll off, stayed alive, but then we just saw OP just walk past them. But even that one game just wasn't enough to be able to bring anything else back. SK take the win, and A&R sadly going to be shut down in third, fourth.
Still a good month here for A&R with victory over Foot. I can be happy with their results. Gaming, I mean, they are gonna be thrilled right now to be back.
Purple Gaming, yo. मेरे 2800. Wow.
We're definitely on top and a staggering 5
स्प्रे मिला गमी बियर का.
26 DP.
Wow.
Is that right?
I mean, it was Colette against Tank, so I'd imagine so. That is a lot, though. And I mean,
चलो, we are on to the finals now.
seen in Brawl Stars Championship and across all competitions, I think, as well. And that is just huge for him. 19 kills, 526 DPS is massive.
That is impressive. I don't remember ever seeing more than that, but wouldn't be able to know for sure. Wow, I didn't even see it coming. I mean, in all fairness, IKO's played a phenomenal Dynamite as well. But let's see who the MVP is. It is going to be him. He played great, both in quarter and in semi.
बताओ, मेरे वैसे अभी भी सही जा रहे हैं.
I mean,
मेरे को तो पॉइंट्स दे दो भाई. अगले 3 महीने का पॉइंट्स मुझे एडवांस में दे देना चाहिए इनको.
I think if it went to anybody else, I'd be
कि
quite.
भाई आपने बहुत ज्यादा कर लिया है.
26 DPS and 19 kills. I wouldn't have complained about Yoshi having it either, but I think Chaos
नानू का तो कंप्लीट हो जाएगा.
played a very.
And bro,
We welcome him back. One of our least favorite people. And there's his face. It's Ark.
अरे ये आ गया यार टेढ़ा मुंह वाला यार. ये नहीं चाहिए भाई. ये टेढ़ा मुंगल वाला, ये इसको भगाओ यार. ये फिर आ गया.
I mean, my jaw literally dropped when I saw that. I think that's the most I've ever seen in the BSC. And we saw in East Asia earlier pretty much that exact same idea with the collecting tanks. And I think it was about like in the 500s for sure.
भाई मैं और जबड़ा दुखने लगा यार.
So
हाँ.
at the moment.
अबे यार इसको भगाओ यार.
Watching that reply totems,
अब तो LCQ होगा अक्टूबर में. यस. आपके यहाँ एनिमल एनजीओ एक्टिव है. एनिमल एनजीओ
of all teams, no easy.
नहीं.
But sadly, that's as far as they made it. On the other side of things, for Esports with that huge upset earlier to A&R, who didn't go any further against SK Gaming in those semi-finals. Sadly for Humble as well, didn't proceed past those quarter-final stages, and they were in a real contentive spot for the World Finals position. Sadly, not having made the SPS, though, means that they are now pretty much out of the running, leaving up Grand Finals for today. Zayth Division versus SK Gaming. Set to be an absolute banger. I mean, coming into today, SK
अब एसटे की जीटा भाई. जीटा पे हमने लगा रखा है. हमने तो मैच नहीं देख रहा तभी प्रेडिक्शन कर दिया था.
have SPS still to come for those challenge finals in Cologne.
तुम भी ये कर सकते हो, प्रेडिक्शन लगा के सो जाने का. भले ही गलत भी होगा तो एक आध दो सही होंगे, तब भी पॉइंट्स तो मिल ही जाएंगे.
Today has been just that. Got to take a look at our predictions as well. As yeah, for the most part, smooth sailing for most of us. I mean, me and Trav behind though. Teddy's looking right out on front here.
I think we're even.
Is it?
We're even
Even.
because
Even, actually, yeah.
Use your eyes. Use your eyes.
Sorry, Trav, are you sad that it didn't come to you with this?
Listen, the thing is, right, I'm just gonna put my point across. This is Ark changing up because I called him out.
Well, go on then. Go, give us your point.
I mean, my point is that SK are just looking better at the moment, I feel. They seem more comfortable, and to be honest, you know, A&R, they can take down SK.
वो इंसान को पीछे से दुखता होगा लुल, इसलिए ऐसा मुंह बनाता है. समझा बात को? अरे नहीं भाई, ऐसा हमेशा ही इतना कौन करता है. फिर आ गया यार, इसको हटाओ यार, ये गलत बात है. नहीं देखना यार हमें, नहीं देखना हमें. क्या नाम इसका, टेडी. ऐसा टेडी होता हो तो घर में मैं टेडी बियर ना रखूं भाई.
Have never looked better. And it's such a weird thing to look back at this year and having not seen SK be as dominant in those top spots positions. I mean, they're only
मेरा अचार घूम जाएगा
I
ये
think it was April and they came out, not looking great there. I think this could be the time for them, and what better time?
इसके दांत बहुत खराब हैं क्या
Stages of the
मुझे लग रहा है
looking as strong as they are.
इसके दांत बहुत खराब हैं तभी ये छुपाता है गुटखा खाता है मुझे लगता है
बोलो जुबान तीसरी
हाँ ये वहां का अजय देवगन होगा वहां पे गुटखा का ऐड करता होगा ये
Well, they've been consistently on top so far this year. Garo, now Meow, the best team in the EMEA for the BSC 2023, at least up until Worlds start, because we might change our minds then. But for now, they have been playing.
कौन तेरा मुंह वाला टेडी यस ब्रो टेडी बियर
Division picked up this boat,
जो पीता है बियर
but I mean, I just want to appreciate, how good Zeta Division as an org are at scouting talent, are at picking those rosters out and making them champions. Because this is what this team is right now. They are the champions of EMEA and SK. I mean, they're here to fight for that title now.
3 grand final wins under their belt and looking to make it a 4th. And every time that they've not made the grand finals, they've exited in the quarterfinals. So this would be a first if they were to lose in the grand final stages. And they're looking so good today. But on the other side of things, Trav, SK Gaming, we just saw them. They looked so dominant as they were in the quarterfinal stages as well. It's hard not to feel like this could be a turn, a bit of a change in the wind for them.
I mean, the thing is, after watching them play today, you wouldn't have thought they were fighting for their first monthly final win. That's the thing. After seeing, Zeta Division with 3, you'd expect SK to have at least 1, but they're playing this game for their first monthly final win, and that would be coming in the last month if they do manage to win it as well, which is just not what we expected coming into this year. SK, they put forward such a great roster. They've had real tough times, roster changes left, right, and center time and time again, but this is the roster that's looked the best all year long, and I think they might be able to do it.
It's going to take a great deal to take down the Titans of the EMEA region, which are Zeta Division, looking to make it their 4th monthly finals win this year. But SK have looked so fair.
जीटा बहुत सारे अच्छे प्लेयर्स हैं
Drafts have
वो सब जा चुके दूसरी टीम में भाई
themselves today. But can they go all the way? That is the question.
हे ईश्वर मनु को बचा लो अरे अरे अरे
This poll will be on event.brawlstars.com, by far the toughest decision that we would have made today, I'm sure. So if you are just a couple of points away from that pin, I don't envy you. I don't.
मेरे पास एसटी का पिन है जो जी उसमें मॉर्टिस है वाह
SK, before we say a short farewell to you and get you back in later on, why is SK going to take it?
इसी बात पे
बोलो जुबान तीसरी
As well, like they've had a tough year. They've had to make some difficult choices with rosters as well, and things just didn't really go the way they wanted. But they have one chance now to make it right before we move on to LCQ and Worlds and show again that SK Gaming is one of the
अबे इनकी स्क्रीन देख के ऐसा क्यों लग रहा है जी स्क्रीन पूरी ब्लैक एंड व्हाइट हो गई
Just taking a little bit of a toilet break before they get into the nitty gritty. It's a tough matchup next to come, and clearly just getting prepared for it.
ब्लैक एंड व्हाइट दुनिया में चला गया भाई मैं इनको देख के
Have had by far the more challenging road this year. I mean, for Zeta, they've pretty much been up on top the majority of the way through, and they faltered and came down and had those quarterfinals exits. They still bounced back, and
वाह
who is that?
I actually have
Does
no
anyone know?
clue. No clue.
It's just a random Donny. Big shout out by Yoshi there. Yeah, I mean, SK have gone through so much this year, and the one thing that's missing from their mix is that grand finals win. And to get one to finalize the season, to finalize the year for them potentially before we get into the last chance qualifying stages, and of course SPS challenge.
ओ भाई पासवर्ड लीक हो गया इसका ही
It takes a lot to interrupt to bounce back from those kinds of defeats to get to this stage once again.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. With how many roster changes they've had, it's just been a real tough year for them, Like, they started on roster, they changed it up again, and then changed it up again. It's like so many different roster changes to bring it to the roster that they have now, and this is the roster that's fighting out for the world spot. And at the moment, how they're playing, they kind of deserve it, If they're playing like this all year long, I don't doubt that they've probably...
योशी को देख के लग रहा है वो भारतीय है अच्छा
They've had to change so many things. They've changed their play style. They've changed their players.
अबे यार
Just seems like a...
अभी तो फिर भी देखो नॉर्मल कर रखा है मुंह ठीक है
if any.
इसको बीच बीच में याद आता है, अरे हंसना है भाई, हंसने का पैसा मिलता है।
But
फिर देखो इंग करके बैठ जाएगा, इंग।
It feels like the way
सॉरी,
Zeta
होंठ चिपका के रखना है।
this year of being in this position in those grand finals, Teddy, time and time again. You know, we sometimes vote against them when it comes to the polls, as you guys have done today. But again, more often than not in the past, they come out on top. It's one of those things that when you're so frequently in this position, you sometimes get underestimated by just constantly being able to turn things around. And we saw that earlier today against Reply Totem when Zeta looked down and out. They turned things around, especially in that knockout stat. Seemed to
इसको तो उसका ऐड देना चाहिए, फेविकोल का भाई।
Zeta, like as much as there's a lot of hype around the SK right now. Zeta are still the overall favorites, right? They've had the more success this year. They've been in the better form through and throughout the year. But I don't know. I feel something about this momentum for SK Gaming that just drives me towards predicting for them. But hey, there's only going to be one way to find out.
There is. Teddy will catch you just in a moment. 79% on event.brawlstars.com for Zeta, 21% for SK Trav. I said it was more 50-50, as did Teddy. I think you'll probably be on side despite going with SK for the polls. What do you think of that?
yeah, I think it's close to 50-50, but I can see why the majority of people would go for SK for Zeta.
डिस्कपल्सन शो पे भी किसी को बड़ी कुर्सी पे बैठकर पैसा मिलता है, नाम लेना आवश्यक नहीं, समझने वाले समझ जाएंगे। गिली विजेक्स तो नहीं खेलता भाई, मस्त प्लेयर है एसटी का।
The Shelly and the Cordelia. RT going to be the first pick, and I do quite like it.
अलग अलग जगह पे अलग अलग कॉम्प यूज करते हैं। अब जैसे फॉर क्वालिफायर्स अभी तक सार्जेंट खेलता है, लेकिन जैसे ही मेन टूर्नामेंट आता है, सार्जेंट को नहीं खिलाते हैं। सार्जेंट के बदले में पता ही नहीं कौन ही खेल रहा होता है।
As well, very, very SK picks, and that's one thing we can say for today is that when SK have brought in what they just feel most comfortable with, it has worked out more often than not for them, and I do quite like their starting hand here. Back over to Zeta though, and the RT's not a bad start. I don't know whether it's my first pick material, but nonetheless a chance now to back out with two others.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind those. I don't mind the SK picks. I quite like the RT pick as well. But I think, Gus and Body's a little bit better than this, well, at least the RT off the start, but Sprout's definitely repaired it a little bit for me, I feel. If Body can get jump, it's going to be pretty decent against that Sprout, but at the same time, if RT's there defending, drop the legs and one-shot, it's not going to be the same story. But Zeta Division's still got a pick here as well, and SK obviously having a bit of an upper hand having this last pick, whether the Zeta Division need to kind of take into account that they might take something like a Carl or something like that. They can go so aggressive on the Sprout just with the click of a gadget.
And depriving it, of course, from SK, who would just be so dangerous with it. No doubt waiting for it in that third and final pick stage and deprived of it. I quite like that for Zeta. Bell as well, always going to be a safe pair of hands. And the nest egg could get some good value, but Eve still available here. Could be on the minds of SK. That's just something to have on the bottom side of this map, but I don't know, not ready for me necessarily, but nonetheless, some aggressive ideas still very much available here for SK. Carl on the cards as well. I think that can definitely show its worth and have that moment to go in on the aggressive.
स्प्राउट भी अच्छा रोलर है, लेकिन उसका यूज अच्छे से हो तो।
Necessarily mind that at all. Tonic though on the Barley, he's just going to keep that survivor ability in check when it comes to knockout. And I think they've got to have an answer for that Sprout, and that's probably the best option. Brom though wouldn't have been a bad one either. I kind of prefer it, but I think for survivor ability, I think the Herbal Tonic does go quite a long way here, but relatively even draft, I would say, on the whole. Signing a bit more of SK, actually, just simply because of the Bonnie. I think that can just provide so much value in the later stages, and the Gus as well. Adding the shield to the Bonnie as well, I mean, that's just a good day all round. But Zeta...
सिर्फ स्प्राउट को काउंटर करने बार्ली लिया भाव।
And so good at keeping the spirits high when all is against them. It was hard on to side with them just a little bit in terms of that, but let's see who gets the upper hand as we go into our final match of the day. It's the grand finals, ladies and gents. Zeta Division versus SK Gaming.
Yoshi's being tapped pretty hard off the start there by Gero, who's pushing up nicely, and now managed to get a few evades and heal up himself. Yoshi there, and With this mark over Chaos's head, obviously he's got to try and avoid these sprout shots like so heavily. Gadget being popped by OP now, trying to push forward. Heals coming through from the Barley as well, pushing behind him, jumps there.
Oh, nice one.
The takedown, and now Gero's next for the taking. Is low, but with no help from the Gus there, Chaos could not take him out.
Yeah, a little hope realistically here for Zeta, unless they can just try to find something. Gary's so low on that right-hand side. He's got to heal if he's going to have any opportunity to try to claw this one back. But as the gas comes in, it's hard to feel like Zeta can really push back away from this. I think just go to the gas and just let it be. They've got super anyway. SK a little bit of that going into this next round, but
भाव वेरी डेंजरस वॉइस बॉक्स में ऐड करो ना. पहले ऐड ही था लेकिन इसका यूज कहीं नहीं करते थे तो हमने बंद कर दिया.
Wall, it's going to be a bit difficult now as we see them push up, but Chaos is going to rotate over and take this side with the wall, whereas Yoshi's going to try and slot into that mid, but now Meow rotating back over, and Chaos is going to be moving straight to that right-hand lane once more. Sprout's got this advantage in terms of range, but Chaos has the burst potential a bit closer up. But at the moment, with no gas, he's not going to be getting close.
Mark could prove costly. There's big taps onto OP. He's got to shoot these a little bit better. The Herbal Tonic comes in. The reverse polarity does not connect there from Gary, but it's a nice attempt, nice idea. But I'm surprised OP survived that scenario, but needs to get super now and focus on it. But even if he gets to be much more vulnerable
सुपर वेस्ट हो गया.
swiftly. But doing a decent job now. Guess Gary actually picks him up a kill. 2 versus 3. Fantastic from him as he was literally about to go down. He might have to jump away here if he's not careful. Pops the gadget to get more maneuverability, more damage behind his shots, and that might be enough here. Meow's kind of boxed himself in, and Chaos can just easily shoot over the wall. Now he's the last one left alone, and he'll go down as well.
James.
From SK, a game in the pocket.
I mean, that was flawless. How OP managed to get up whilst marked and the Gus
Easy peasy हो गया ये तो.
idea, but he managed to make the move, got the kill, got his super, and the super was what closed out the game as well. Huge moves from him coming in, and I mean, Yoshi was kind of just
Guys, it a गलत prediction है.
and missed a couple of shields, but at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter if you bring him the win.
What an important time to bring a showing. Still a lot to be done here, but that was convincing for SKOP. Now he's got to be careful again to not get overzealous, but the hills will go a long, long way to keeping him in that left-hand side position. Meanwhile, Yoshi's on the top right, pushed back by now his shots. Just itching his way forwards now. Amplified mark above his head, so he's got to be cautious as well as Chaos and OP separate themselves from those bell shots.
Sprout की ability का इतना ज़्यादा अच्छे से use हो नहीं रहा है.
Meow's just holding things firm.
SK आज form में.
Only the one on the side of SK. So the SK's side, they've got to start to
Oh,
get a
भाई.
bit more utilities behind
मार दे.
Chaos there.
Yeah, Chaos just moving forward, not stopping either, walking the straight line. Shield available now, placed on OP, and he's going to be rotating over to this right-hand side, try and face off against the RT as he did in the last one, and it worked in the previous, so why can't it work again? Shield's gone though, heals.
Come on, chance है.
Chaos moving close into range of Meow.
अरे नहीं मार पाया भाई.
He's low as well, and Chaos
Okay, nice.
all over him.
1v1 but with Barley,
Eat 2 shots.
impossible.
Is all he can.
Gee.
The round goes to SK.
A shame there for Gary because the reverse polarity was really nice there towards the end. But this is why that Barley pick was a good investment for SK. They had to have the heals to get the upper hand, to get the high ground, and the late stages as well. So good. A lot of value there. Chaos was able to achieve their Meow almost went down. The wall will be a saving grace there from the shots of Yoshi, but they still got to retreat back a little bit here as the jumping from OP is good. Clears up the lane on the left-hand side. Meow is forced out to then pop a gadget for a super, but it's still a 3 versus 2. I mean, realistically, how is this round?
मुझे तो नहीं समझ में आता लॉजिक भाई.
Great taps from Naui, but there's so much more work to be done.
लोग सुपर यूज ही नहीं करते इसका.
Gadgets there. Yoshi finds it even though the wall was placed. Now he is going to go forward, but he's going to be taken down. SK Gaming taking set number 1 in such a convincing fashion. I don't even know if they got a single
हग्गू मुट्टू कर दिया. जेटा बेकार कॉम्प्लियन.
2 kills.
अरे उनको सिखाया जाता है भाई कि पूरे 5 यूज करने हैं. उनके स्पॉन्सर दिखने चाहिए टीवी पे ज्यादा देर के लिए.
And we said it coming.
इसलिए इतना लंबा लंबा खींचते हैं कि चलो भाई चलो लंबा खींचेंगे भाई एकदम लास्ट तक.
I mean, you know, what better time for it? It's been a really rough year. That is just the first set. I mean, but considering that Zeta played knockout so well, and SK looked like that was so one-sided and methodical in the approach, most importantly, I've got to say. It did not look like It did not look like they were nervous in any way, and that's something we've seen from SK sometimes when under pressure. They get a bit nervous, make some silly mistakes along the way, and just maybe overconfident in their approach when it comes to the aggressiveness, but it wasn't. It was all about control, and it was so calculated, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it really was great from SK Gaming. I think the comp was maybe that little bit better, as you did say off the start. There was a nice reverse polarity there as well, but Garo just couldn't get the work done. Nice kills, but I mean, in this spot, you kind of, especially with that gas hitting you as well, taken down just by like trickle downs of Chaos's shots. And I mean, SK just looked so strong. If it carries on like that, if they get the drafts right, if they keep on playing this convincing, it could be a 3-0, never mind just a win to SK.
That would be crazy, I'll be honest. I mean,
3-0 भी हो सकता है।
just almost
भाई ये जीता है, देखो भले ही एसटी जीत भी जाए
scary.
तब भी मुझे लगता है ये 5 तक जाएगा,
A rare
पांचों सेट।
to be honest. How often do you ever see Zeta with stats like that? I mean, it's looking very, very good for SK, but they've got to keep this up. That's the
ग्रैंड फाइनल्स होने के बाद स्ट्रीम एंड करोगे क्या 9:30 को? यस
bounty.
यस
New draft.
यस।
A chance for Zeta to be able to claw things back and turn things around. And this is a very good map for them. We've seen some great things from them in the past here, some more aggressive ideas and some great.
इधर बहुत बारिश हो रही है,
Again,
क्या बात है भाई।
a lot to say about SK's ability to handle the
राजदीप तुम नाव लेके निकल लो।
kind of needs to see a bit of a squeak bound, which there is on the side of SK Tick and Eve to follow up with that. So Sam Carl, I think, on the left-hand side for Zeta.
नाव लो टाइटैनिक वाली,
Barley first pick.
गर्लफ्रेंड को बैठाओ
First pick. I mean, there's still.
और निकल लो।
I mean, not necessarily their best maps and modes, but nonetheless, you can't really count them out here.
पूरे 5 सेट होंगे तो 10 बज जाएगा,
On the side of SK
है तो उसके चक्कर में 9:30 बजे कैसे।
ideas. Barley wouldn't be a bad shout here at all for me. But
9:30 और आफ्टर ग्रैंड फिनाले, ग्रैंड फिनाले देख के जाएंगे भाई, क्यों टेंशन ले रहे हो।
Today, just take all the throws you can out.
और दिलियस
Diner in the previous, Barley and that one. I'm taking it first at this point. Chaos is absolutely cooking today, but Cordelia is going to be the first brawler brought in by SK Gaming. And I mean, you know, Shelly's available as well, but I just don't know Shelly's worth really, especially against a Barley or something like that, especially on a map like this where, you know, if it comes to it, you can see a need to come in, something like that, something that's good against Shelly, tank it, throwers, everything kind of can go against her. But Cordelia, I think it's always going to have a bit of a show in, you know, in
कल आज तक पे राजदीप की फोटो दिखेगी कि देखो देखो बाढ़ जैसे हालात हो गए हैं। लोल वाह
worrying after we saw
भाई, हो गया जीजी कॉर्डिलियस। ये
there's so little range on the side of SK at the moment, and I'm a bit worried. They need to add to that and just have that insurance policy when it comes down to things, because if they deprive a lot of these shots, of course the Cordelius has got a much better chance of being able to cycle off the back of these things, but they deprive the Nita and the Barley's able to get that constant value off the back of that. That could be smelling good news for Zeta. Shelly going to come out. I don't mind it. I mean, look at the range advantage it's going to have in this scenario. I mean, whatever the third pick is for SK, it's still going to have a pretty decent time. Can get rid of the bushes as well. But something that was a bit of a sharpshooter wouldn't go amiss for me on the side of SK, on the side of Zeta, well, and SK as well, let's be honest. But the first sign of things will come from Zeta here. And just to have a little bit more range to things, or double down, get the thrower in as well. Why not? Like you say, I mean, depriving Chaos, right? It's never going to be a bad thing. He might bring in Dynamite, who knows? I mean, it could work here, but I'm a bit worried for SK's comp.
Yeah, no, I was thinking the same. Like,
नीटा पपीटा
Barley, even more unusual, and then now it's against double throw. It's going to be pretty hard. Gonna have to be pretty much against the Shelly, I feel, the whole time. I'm going to need to be cycling bears against her so much. Really, it's the same. You know, if they can't get in range of the throwers.
मोर्टिस ब्रिंगर ऑफ दुम, बस 2 थ्रोअर्स और 1 शैली। वाह क्या बात,
Shelly is
मतलब
really
क्या करना क्या चाह रहे हैं मेरे को समझ में नहीं आया, लेकिन वाह
Surely just going to hunker down with the Shelly.
कुछ नहीं करना इन लोगों को भाई, एसटी वालों को कुछ नहीं करना। मोर्टिस दौड़ के जाएगा, ब्लू स्टार उठाएगा, पीछे आ जाएंगे।
Dynamite, to be completely honest, I mean, under the circumstances, let's be honest, yeah, it's not your typical draft for Canal Grande. So, I mean, just considering how well they played it as well earlier, I thought it was absolutely coming, but Mortis coming out.
वो देखो आया मोटिस लेके चला गया.
I think he's probably the best pair of hands to have with that particular brawler. But will he bring out the goods? That's the question. Will he just feed stars?
मार नाइस.
Well,
Great start. That's all I got.
पूरा गेम शैली पे टिका हुआ भाई. अगर शैली निपटी तो मोटिस सबको निपटा देगा.
And you know, Shelly should just be following the Mortis around or staying with the throwers, because even if they just sit behind this wall with Shelly here, the throwers can deal with those two. Shelly can deal with the Mortis if they come in for a pinch, and I don't know what they can do.
they're gonna have to make a move. What's making
इस कॉम से जीता जीते तो मान जीत जाएगी. बस शैली को बिल्कुल चिपक के ही खेलना पड़ेगा. कोई ऑप्शन ही नहीं है भाई. देखो मोटिस पीछे से आ रहा है.
time this absolutely perfectly, and even then, I mean, it's one button for now, just to put OP's mind at rest and take the stars and run away with things. I mean, it's gonna take a lot. I mean,
अरे बेचारा मोटिस यहाँ से जाता है फिर वापस घूम के आता है.
it's got to really land the mark. Yoshi's low, Paradise low, goes down. 4 stars in the blue star with Zeta, and SK haven't had a look in.
I mean, Obe, he's doing a great job.
उसका काम सिर्फ डराने का है भाई शैली का. उसके वहां से दूर गई
Even the mind
तो
control.
पिटाई हो जाएगी इन लोगों की.
So they're gonna have another defensive measure in case someone else comes in. Super actually does do it quite nicely, but Clay Pigeon might have been able to finish it off. Last call over to that side, and Yoshi surely can't escape this, but does just narrowly. Now OP just running for his life, and this is not good for SK.
It's really not. I mean, they could have gone with so many options.
ये आ गया फिर से मोटिस. मोटिस ब्रिंगर ऑफ दुम भाई.
10 seconds remaining.
ये लो जंप करके आया. ओ ले ले ले.
Control straight for Yoshi. Get out of this spawn, mate. We don't want to see you here. But Chaos coming in does get me out. Oh, this could be it. This could be huge. No, now he shuts it down and will survive.
बच गए. बच गए.
Come out.
2 पॉइंट्स रह गए भाई. बच गए बिल्कुल. जीटा वाले बच गए एकदम.
To get the damage from Chaos if he's in the realm, and if he is, then he's going to be able to get a pinch coming in from the Bear and the Nita. So I'm not sure if that was the best play. I'll have to look at it back a little bit later on, but Zeta can just hold on. But that was definitely a bit sketchy considering the rest of the game that we.
अरे आया आ गया मोटिस आया. मोटिस आया.
Be there, made this. Like, just ignore the shot, go straight for the throwers, and it did not pay off. And look at this immediately. SK are just handing stars over on a platter. I mean, you can't do this. Not in the grand finals. I mean, this set is pretty much chalked unless SK can
फिर जब मारेगा.
something that we're missing in this comp. I mean, Yoshi's just creeping around the right-hand side, but can't go anywhere. He can't even close the gap enough to get Super to be able to cycle it in the first place. If he does, that might be the one look in. As I just don't see where
फिर से आया मोटिस.
I really don't know either. But
भाई मोटिस तो बेचारा भाई.
inside, the shot's not lingering long enough, and Meow's got this mind control. If someone comes in, and they're going to be able to use it. But Chaos,
हो रहा है भाई भाई. मार शैली मार.
I feel like we were kind of doubting Nita, but now he's the only one.
शैली देख रो. ट्रिगर कंट्रोल. शैली सिर्फ डराने का काम कर रही है. क्या आया इधर मार दूंगी. हड्डी तोड़ दूंगी. इधर नहीं आना पास में. पास में मत आना. हड्डी तोड़ दूंगी. फिर आया था फिर आया फिर.
completely of Zeta right now. I mean, OP just trying to bait out the shell shock there, but it's just going to come immediately back as soon as he closes the gap. And now,
ब्लैक व्हाइट पिक्चर ऑफ जीटा. इससे ये पता चलता है कि
now the Bruce Bear.
ब्रॉल स्टार 1960 से पहले से खेला जा रहा है.
But look at that, shut down immediately, and Yoshi's the last man standing. But for how long? He's baited things forward. It's going to be going in here. Gets the takedown.
ओ भाई 2 पॉइंट का डिफरेंस.
Needed for SK, but can they even do that? 20 seconds on the clock.
I mean, looks like they might be able to. A pinch comes in. Yoshi needs to drag someone into run. He misses his super. That's actually the worst in the gap, and the one
और ये ले लिए 2 पॉइंट.
he gets it, but the blue star.
ओ भाई
Straight into now he can they get the finish off. Now he goes down. The leads with SK somehow. They retreat, and
ओ मार दिया. भालू ने मार दिया.
all of that.
अबे कुछ भी चल रहा है भाई. मैं बोला ना शैली निपटी तो इनका काम खत्म.
Went somewhere for a split second, and I didn't even see where the stars shifted. But I don't know.
भाई ये शैली के ऊपर पूरा गेम टिका हुआ है इनका. शैली अगर इधर से उधर गई है. शैली मरी तो ये दोनों तो ऐसे चटका दिए जाएंगे.
It's taking more of a mistake on the side of Zeta than it is to make a play from SK here. OP
ये लो निपटा गया वो.
pretty decent start. Gets a kill, gets the super off the back of things. If SK can hold this now, but this is going to be even tougher, I feel, against double thrower here. But they're going to try for it. They're going to go in the aggressive. This is the best
फिर से आया और ये लो
all set.
बच गया
What's going on?
खत्म फिनिश टाटा बाय बाय।
OP's got 4 stars against a Shelly. I mean, yes, he's going for the throwers.
यूनिकॉर्न तो बढ़िया जीटा वाला, तीनों साथ रहो बस और कुछ नहीं। लेकिन भाई अब देख रहे हो ना, नहीं रहने दे रहे ना साथ में। ये देखो वो निपटा के चला गया भाई। 15 पहुंच गया स्कोर।
The world right now saying, yeah, we had no doubt. I mean, we never
बेचारी शैली कितना ही डैमेज दे देगी।
OPE.
फिर आया आया और भाग गया।
On the retreat now, 1 minute on the clock might be a bit premature, but Yoshi's still in position on this right-hand side here. But he's got mind control there, and he should be just a sitting duck for the taking. Pushes into the realm now. He has probably the wrong person to push.
मारो मोर्टिस को मारो।
I mean, he's not the guy you want with 6 stars against a Shelly, is he really? But if he goes down, then it's all going to crumble for SK after such a beautiful game. This could all
मोरा भाई क्या जम मारी है, बहुत बढ़िया।
nice jump away from that Shelly.
अरे भाई तीनों साथ में खड़े हैं, मोर्टिस एक सूप में मारेगा भाई तीनों को।
Being dragged into the realm here, and now Yoshi might be able to make something happen. But it's just going to be OP running away here, and Yoshi and Chaos just trying.
अबे 20 सेकंड बाकी सिर्फ।
It's just such a high-risk moment. He can't afford to go on the aggressive, which is going to allow Zeta to go on the aggressive, pushing things around to the left-hand side now. Now it's creeping. The Bruce Bear comes out. That will seek them out. And OP might even be trying to go for something there. It's going to
13
SK 15 stars to the 13 of Zeta. And somehow, some way, we're
0 हो चुका है।
on top. I don't know what I'm seeing, but what I do know is that I feel I've seen it all. The EMEA region in the final monthly final. It's going this way in the grand finals. Sure, why not? I'm all for it.
हाँ ये खाना आना खा रहा भाई बैठ के। अरे
Tell you, come here, we wanted,
Mind blown out of existence there.
we wanted his live reaction on it as well. But I mean, honestly, that was
देख रहे हो खाना वाना चल रहा था पीछे यार।
how that's even happened. Zeta, you got to take a look in the mirror and question how.
That's it, just
That's
how?
it, just how.
Your face is the picture, by the way. I mean, of that first game, if that wasn't enough to tell Zeta that they had this,
भाई
I don't really know what does, because, I mean, they
आर्क भी
SK for Zeta to make them.
हंस रहे हैं।
But make I mean, OP's pop off there was crazy in that third game.
10 रैंडम लूट ड्रॉप आया।
Happened, but it did.
लियो सब ले लो।
How they let him get away with all of this, to be fair. Like, this is just crazy, really. Like, I mean, Ope played the start beautifully, right? He got supers, he chained them. That's what you need to do against the Shelly. The only hope you've got is supers. And I think maybe we didn't even see him get a super in the first game because of how dominant Zeta were. And then from there, maybe he learned. Maybe something was... There you go. And again, 6 stars were over his head. It really was nice from him. He made some great plays. I'm not taking anything away from him there. But I don't know how Zeta couldn't defend it.
Shouldn't have worked, but it did. And just again, that small opening of a door really did open itself up.
मेरा मतलब
In my opinion,
जीटा के गेम प्ले पे हंस रहा है लूल। अच्छा
DPS and 6 takedowns. I mean, for all intents and purposes, that was the set going the way of Zeta, and that begs the mind, doesn't it? That if they can't gain it there, can they realistically
डबल शूश।
gem grab? I mean, if going into
अब देखो क्या करते हैं लोग।
that kind of defeat, can you really pick yourselves off the floor to really, be able to make something of it? It's hard to see how SK don't take this set and sweep
इसलिए अभी ये जीटा मेरे को ज्यादा पसंद नहीं है, मजा नहीं आता, कुछ
it up this morning.
मजेदार नहीं चल रहा होता है।
I'd hear the day.
पैसे का चक्कर बाबू भैया, पैसे का चक्कर। वैसे देखो जीटा ऑलरेडी पहुंच ही चुकी है
Double swoosh.
LCQ में, ठीक है, तो उनको कोई मतलब नहीं है जीते चाहे हारे,
But I'm not sure about that.
लेकिन फिर भी एसटी को तो मतलब है।
Amber coming out of Zeta Vision for the bans, and SK Gaming going to get rid of the
अरे मैंने नया वाला माउस नहीं लगाया भाई,
Obviously,
ये रखा वैसे की वैसे ही, ये
so I don't
लगाना भी बाकी है।
Yeah, I think the band's solid here for SK.
पंगा भी ना आया तो उसको मैं पुराना दे दूंगा, वो खा लेगा
Realistically,
और ये नया वाला अपन लगा लेंगे।
their ideas today
इसको रख देते हैं अंदर, घुस जाओ इसके अंदर बबुआ।
I think a Gina or a Bow is probably better for me, but Grey going to come in for SK. That might be their mid even, and that's very interesting stuff. I mean, ultimately, if you can get the TP working for you to have that escape both in and out and gain those hills off the back of it, I'm all for it. Walking Kane as well can really open things up in that mid and give yourselves a better matchup. So it's
BBS ने वीडियो
it's like the
डाल दी। यस, कौन सा कंपनी का माउस है? एंटी स्पोर्ट्स।
all year long, and just now seem to have a bit more confidence behind actually, making them work out and implementing them successfully. So they're doing to have that aggressive.
पंगविन वो खेलेगा, संभाल के रखो।
I'm not a big fan of it here on this particular map. It can work, it's okay.
हाँ, वो खाएगा ना, बोल तो रहा था वो खा लेगा।
Yeah, no, I'm the same. It was Foot who played it right, and it didn't work out for them very well against A&R at all. So we'll see if SK Gaming can maybe play it a little bit better. But I don't know if it's just like good against the spawnables, the support from beyond that Tara's going to be bringing in or something like that, or whether they were just kind of that stuck for a mid brawler. But if you're that stuck, you kind of maybe just pull in like a Gene or something like that, something a bit more versatile. We're going to see the Crow coming in from
वायरलेस है क्या? नहीं, मैं वायर्ड वाला ही लेता हूँ, लेटेंसी कम रहती है।
from this point of view. So
कितने का है वो तो मुझे याद नहीं,
better, but they still,
हो गया टाइम मंगाए हुए।
you've still got SK.
बस ये है कि
We played in the mid
12,000 DPI है।
lanes. We should find out just shortly.
ये वाला 4,800 था जो अभी मैं यूज करता हूँ, ये वाला।
No doubt about it. And
लेकिन ये 12,000 DPI है, समझ लो 3 गुना ज्यादा।
I prefer it in hot zone. I think it has a bit of a better place. Mr. P going to come out then. The Zeta is their third and final pick. And I don't mind their comp, but this third pick from SK could be something
लेटेंसी मतलब ये है कि तुमने कोई बटन दबाई, कंप्यूटर ने कितना सेकंड लिया उसको रिस्पॉन्ड करने में। ऑब्वियसली मिली सेकंड लगते हैं, लेकिन फिर भी
somehow the mechanic
जरा सा डिफरेंस कैन क्रिएट मोर।
of the day, and that's honestly just insane. They can sweep Zeta. I mean, what
DPI मतलब डूब के पानी में उतर जाए और मर जाओ, वैसा वाला DPI।
the World Finals? Poco is going to add things, and I don't necessarily mind it.
डॉट पर इंच होता है वैसे तो DPI।
To be honest,
I can't say I was either.
DPI मतलब होता है डॉट्स पर इंच।
These two teams.
अरे क्या हुआ, अटक क्यों गया?
Don't know what to expect. I don't know if it's just
अरे पैसे की डीलिंग चलने लगी क्या?
some completely wild brawl stars today that's just working. And
अरे इनकी पैसे की डीलिंग अलग चलने लगती है यार, पहले बाद में कर लो ना डीलिंग यार, ये तो पहले कर लेते। अब 2 बार हार गए तो जीता वाले बोल रहे हैं भाई एक काम कर, 2 हमें जीतने दे यार, ऐसे कैसे बेइज्जती कर रहा है यार,
so I'm not
इतनी देर लगाती रेडी करने में।
going on, but we'll see who does come out on top. Obviously, it's SK Gaming playing this set for the win in the grand finals, champions or Zeta Division, with a dream trying to start a comeback. And this is the last person I expect to see in mid, I will say as well.
I mean, I think the bans though on the side of Zeta kind of like warranted a bit of an adaptation on the side of SK. I think they were really smart bans in that front, with the Amber there as well, and still options were available nonetheless. Let's see how SK want to make this work, as they've definitely got the more out there of the two. I'm definitely starting with Zeta here with the Crow and the Tara alone. I mean, if Meow gets the portals as well, it's definitely going to be another thing that SK are going to have to consider. So far, there's the Walking Cane, pulls Meow in, but not going to follow up and get the takedown there. So, bit of a stalemate start, but for good reasons. Both sides do not want to feed anything to their opposition.
Nah, you can't really blame them for this at the moment. Just so passive. And like, Chaos isn't going to want to see any of those porters coming in towards him, but Yoshi's going quite aggressive now. Now he hit once, but Yoshi slowed down and not able to do a lot after that. Mope pushing forwards with a little hill coming through now as well with the gadget there. The walking came through, and that's a great pinch from Chaos to find him there. The TP's available as well, and now the pinch comes in down the right-hand side. Yoshi just needs to make some plays as he's getting hardcore just dealt with here by the Crow, and that's a great pull by Gero.
Yeah, great retake of that left-hand side. Now the portals coming in to lend a helping hand. And it was great for Meow on the bottom there to find the players that he was searching for, to ensure that he was safe in that moment of retake as well. So credit to him. As OP is
भाई कितना डैमेज कर गया ये,
super either.
टीपी रेडी है इसका,
And himself in the process, and now he's doing a great job of just keeping him at bay, keeping his distance, going in now aggressively as he can afford to do so, getting the double slow off there as well, and that's cleared up the right-hand side. OP will not be there for these initial seconds of this push coming in. He'll be there for the end. But Geru has found Yosh, connects lovely stuff from him on the left-hand side, and this takedown is just OP versus the world. Nothing.
GG's.
And Zeta show the first signs of life.
I mean, I think it's just SK
दब के मर जाओ, ये होता है DPI. हाँ, सही बात.
being played at different parts in the map, and the person who I was expecting to be mid, or the two that I was expecting to be mid, are playing down the lanes, and the one that I'd have been like, okay, that's a solidified lane brawler, is playing down the mid. So
मैं बता रहा हूँ, पीछे इतना गेम स्टार्ट होने में इसलिए लगा डीलिंग चल रही थी पैसे की.
comfortably as they did in that previous game.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. Because when I saw the crowd, I thought that's
अबे उसके मुंह के सामने से ले गया पोको.
so. It's interesting, but it's not working at the moment unless SK can do something with it that we've not seen yet. And again, now on this right-hand side, it's getting a bit more of a tougher time. He was doing so well in the previous game, but now a few switch-ups along the way, and it has shifted as Meow gets a bit too close for my liking there. Somehow comes out, and no harm done, but Vision there will help him out massively. So
अरे 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 पोको गुस्सा आ गया भाई.
and two
पोको को गुस्सा आ गया.
SK almost on a countdown already. They can afford to stay forwards now because all of Zeta coming off the spawn.
Yeah, Chaos healing as well through that TP, so 8 gems to 0. They've got a lot to go with here, and if there's no big turnarounds, then surely SK take this one, but Zeta getting some great control back as well. The slow might be available. A good shot from OP over to that right to scout out Naui, and now it's down to Chaos to take over and try and make something happen, but it's going to be a tough matchup, especially when slow jump comes in. Needs to get a couple of shots, and does go down, but it's still 8-3. They've got a lot of time to deal with this.
Yeah, Zeta are definitely buying time, but that's an unfavorable spawn there on the gem. And they probably push their way forwards for it, but OP is very low here. He will get the gem for it, but now if he gets to jump here as well, can go on the aggressive. Does so, but then uses it there, and he already got the kill, so it's a bit of a waste for me, but they can maybe focus their attention onto Yoshi a bit more now. The turret goes down, and I haven't really seen many of them. That's pretty much the first sign of life that we've already seen from that Jesse pick. But one gem away are SK from Countdown, and that cannot be ignored here. And that gem could be one for OP. He's going to go for it. It's got the heal to hand as well, so it's pretty safe to do so. And Geru has not got super. He has it now, but it's a bit too little too late, and SK should be able to run away with this.
I mean, again, aggressive. Meow's trying to come in, gets the shots off, but a big TP from Chaos to get the kill. Now he's got jump, but he goes left and OP right. Screeching soul.
समझ में नहीं आया मेरे को. कौवा उचक के गया, कौवा उचक के गया, लेकिन उसको नहीं मारा जिसके पास जेम्स है. उसने उसको मारा जिसके पास जेम्स नहीं है. वाओ.
Potentially from their first monthly finals of the year in the final monthly final of the year. It's not over yet though, and Zeta have already proved and demonstrated that their comp has certainly got legs here. And if anything, it's SKs with the more questionable, but I mean they're the ones on match point, so you know you can't really grumble. Nice walking cane there from my Chaos on the right hand side, but there's a lot of clustering to be had here. Just trying to find the shots onto Geru, but Geru not giving an inch, and OP in the mid does get that gem. Both sides just looking for that early.
भाई कैसे भाई पोको से इतना कैसे डर सकता है कोई.
He has.
Yeah, heals there from OP as well. Does get it off on Chaos and Screeching Solo into both, and now
मतलब पोको ही तो है, कितना डैमेज करेगा.
that's really nice.
पूरी हेल्थ थोड़ी खा जाएगा. इतने में तो मैं घुसते मारता हूँ पोको को. पोको को तो इज्जत नहीं देते हम भाई.
From OP that would have gone quite long.
तुम हमारे साथ है, हमारे साथ आके खेलो, तुम्हें पता चले. पोको को तो हम इज्जत नहीं देते भाई. और इनके जैसे कोऑर्डिनेशन में अगर खेल रहे हो तब तो और इज्जत ना दे. घुसते मार के हैं उनको.
Is this DPS in the mid? Meow just realistically can't cause a dent into OP to keep him away from the gems. So every time they come, he's just basically straight into the pocket. Now on the left hand side,
मार देख.
slow off in time, and that might put Meow in a tough spot. The TP is there, the gems are picked up, and SK are so close to countdown.
I mean, Gyro's just used his pull on someone with one gem there, and instead of maybe holding it for someone like OP who's got 9-3, and they've got a long way to go now to bring this one back. But Chaos being pushed back, everybody in the spawn of SK Gaming, and they've gone back a little bit short in gems, 9-5, as Meow starts to claw things back, but it's still a long road.
Really is, but good connecting shot.
TP करेगा.
He can't be far away from us, so they've got to be very careful on this Gene TP from Chaos. That has always been a problem, but Meow is stunned into the mid, slow there. Chaos goes in. Gary will get the pick.
मार.
Great spot, but maybe out of position.
उठाओ.
The team wide right there. Zayt can get come back with the gems, and they just got a bit overzealous.
I mean, I don't know why he went for that.
भाई हम तो घुसटियां मारते हैं भाई.
There was no reason to go for it. OP now just walking the straight line, can't really do much else. 3v1 and Screeching Soul is not going to be able to do a lot.
ये अभी भी तो मारा ही ना उसको.
A little bit sad for SK Gaming, could have closed out right there. Zeta Division, the reverse.
भाई पोगो को इतनी इज्जत भाई. नहीं 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 नहीं.
Certainly, it's the beginning of what
अबे राजपाल यादव कौन है बे?
continues on. It's like bar from break.
हैं?
Some weak bladders it seems today, as I think they went before the round started, but they're going again now. I mean, SK kind of had that.
पैसे तो खिलाए हैं भाई, खिलाना पड़ेगा ना, इसलिए तो मैच रोक के रखा था. बोला रुक जा रुक जा रुक जा. अरे भाई तू क्या कर रहा है यार? है इज्जत है भाई, जीटा की इज्जत है भाई. 2 बार वर्ल्ड चैंपियनशिप जीती, उसको इज्जत रखो भाई. माना कि ओरिजिनल टीम नहीं बची है, लेकिन फिर तो इज्जत रखो.
I feel like we've seen it all so far.
विवेक है क्यों भाई? विवेक ऑन वाटर, विवेक ऑन मानसून, क्या हो गया?
It almost worked for SK, which is, you know, maybe the surprising thing. And kind of, I was expecting Zeta to walk over.
इनने बोला देख बेटा इज्जत होगी, लेकिन पैसे की इज्जत होती, पैसे की.
And maybe they'd have been able to take the win, and that would have been even more surprising than them playing the comp, actually managing to win with it. But in the end,
उन्होंने बोला कितना पैसा चाहिए?
answer back and make it 2-1. Obviously, it's still 2 sets they need in a row before SK.
पैसे खिलाते नहीं देते हैं. अरे पैसा खिलाया जाता है भाई.
Something. DPS on the side of Zeta very much kind of even across the board and higher than SK.
घूस को जीटा, खाती पपीता.
Insights. As we were saying before that matchup really kind of commenced, it just felt like SK had 3 mids, didn't it? And they were just kind of looking, I guess, in their strategy to be able to kind of mix and match, maybe, but they didn't.
विवेक ऑन बारिश है.
Stern and stubborn in that mid on that pogo pick, but I mean, why not? It was kind of working. It was
नहीं हम विवेक नहीं है. अच्छी बात है भाई, अगर विवेक आया
as now
और उसके नाम के ऊपर हमें नहीं दिखा
we are now
मेम्बरशिप, तो वह 8,000 वाली मेम्बरशिप वो ले लेगा.
maybe still a bit shell shocked from the way that this series started, being 2 sets down and immediately looking against, you know, what has been such a immensely successful year, dwindling away now, back under some form of control, but they do need to take a breather and relax.
जीटा के पास पिछले 2 सालों का मुद्रा भंडार बचा है, कुछ अपने लिए रख लिया, बाकी डील करने के लिए.
In the grand finals looking this worse for wear. 3 grand final wins. Gotta remember, this is, you know, they qualified every single month. It's scary. It's really scary for them, but they have stopped SK in their tracks. They've broken that momentum.
देखो फिर से यही होगा. अभी जीटा फिर जीतेगी,
A real opportunity.
ठीक है, जीटा फिर जीत जाएगी अभी,
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely
और फिर होगा फाइनल.
to lose this one now. That slight step out of line from OP there, and I mean, you know, don't get me wrong.
हम विवेक हैं. वाओ,
Managed to win that set number 2.
क्या बात है विवेक भाई.
He's played absolutely phenomenal today, but that little
आपका नाम राजपाल यादव है, बताया नहीं आपने? कितने बड़े एक्टर हैं आप, और ऐसी हरकतें आपकी.
not that far away.
ची 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 ची.
Zeta Division is difficult, but if you expect anybody to do it, it's
अरे क्या अभी भी डीलिंग खत्म नहीं हुई इनकी? हैं अभी अब तो डीलिंग खत्म करो भाई. इतना देर लग रहा है इनको.
So our next,
अबे इतना देर कैसे लग रहा है?
this is
Eh?
realistically a map that caters a lot to an SK draft. When it's an SK draft, and like not sort of the avant-garde ideas that we've seen today.
इस काम के पैसे नहीं लेता, कोई काम होगा तो
Definitely
बता.
going to be opening up to brawlers like Bonnie, which there's so prevalent.
FIFA gamer, thank you so much for subscribing. Welcome to the channel.
Where things can really work out well for them, but as they can also with Zeta, that's the thing. Let's see what the bans are. Most importantly, Tara, Squeak, and Bonnie for SK, Crow, Bonnie, and Amber for Zeta. So yeah, I mean they're really solid bans off the mark. I think Bell and Brock certainly going to have a very
ये तो आते ही बैन हो गया.
here when it comes down to things.
हम सस्ते राजपाल हैं. ओ सस्ते वाले हैं क्या?
The bunch, but nonetheless, I've seen crazy things with Kaboom Canyon. There's no Shelly banners, no Cordelia's ban, but are they the best maps for it? Yeah, I think the safer pair of hands are.
FIFA gamer ने 8,000 वाली मेंबरशिप ले ली. लॉल, वाओ, वेरी डेंजरस.
Bell as a first pick. It kind of prevents a lot of the other ones. Slower tanks, 8-bit, that kind of thing. And with Bonnie banned out of the way, it becomes a little less valuable because obviously it's easier to hit those shots with something like a Bonnie who's slow. But I still think that Bell's a great pick. We're back into Zeta Division for 2 now. And looking at those brawler win rates, we've still got a couple of those, well, one of those collect available.
FIFA games
It's picked into
कहाँ है बे तू?
that kind of thing. We're gonna see
Wow.
and obviously the ability to float over.
1 million collection में.
I think Eve's a good shout under the circumstances here because, again, there's a lot of big brawlers banned out of the mix. But I'm curious to see whether 8-bit will show as well because I think that's a really good, solid shout. A bit risky, though, sometimes, a little bit with a slow and sluggish pace. But certainly a B pairing wouldn't be a bad thing for Zeta here because they've got the Eve on their side. Well, they might leave it open to have SK make that kind of mistake, but it's a bit of a tough thing to have. Cordelia's going to come in. But, you know, I guess they're just placing it in there now in the eventuality that SK combine it with a Dower or something along those lines because that's basically where Cordelius is really able to thrive. Just to really alleviate those threats when it comes to taking them away from the objective. It goes such a long way here, but it's going to struggle massively so in terms of range. So it's going to be a credit to how they choose to play it, to close that gap more often than not, and be that problem in the mid, and that might then open things up to wall breaking.
विनर्स डिक्लेयर कर दो. वैसे भी तीनों विनर्स के पास अच्छी लीड है एक दूसरे से. चेक कर लो चाहो तो. अरे भाई तुमको नींद आ रही तो तुम जाकर सो जाओ ना. जबरदस्ती थोड़ी कि नहीं तुमको देखना ही पड़ेगा. अगर तुम श्योर हो कि बस मैं जीत चुका हूं तो तुम्हें क्या टेंशन. तुम जाओ सो जाओ.
Shelly's still on the table as well. We've seen Shelly being played on Kaboom Canyon a considerable amount of times, and I think that's a big thing with Clay Pigeon. But they're going with the Jessie again. Like, I don't mind it, right? I feel it's all right, but I kind of feel like there might have been a better pick.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you on that. I mean,
अरे भाई ये जीटा वाले कर क्या रहे हैं भाई. पहले ही ब्लैक एंड व्हाइट था, अब तो और अंधेरा कर लिया उन लोगों ने. अब तो और कुछ दिख नहीं रहा है. कर क्या रहे हैं लोग.
That's a really nice final pick for Zeta, and one that can really cause a huge problem to Jessie. I mean, you can just go in and just dismantle her so quickly, and I probably wish they played really well on their side also. If anything, I think that could have been an SK pick right there to be had, didn't it? I mean, that would have been like the perfect comp of the circumstances.
आपकी स्ट्रीम मुझे जाने नहीं दे रही. मजा आ रहा है. वाह, यही बिस्तर लगा ले पीछे और सो जा. ये देखो विवेक ऑन फायर है. 8,000 रुपए वाली मेंबरशिप लेगा ये अभी. चलो ले लो चलो. विवेक ऑन फायर.
Solid comp, but nonetheless, Zeta need this set to take it to the 5th and final set. To try to get the reverse sweep.
जिस स्पीड से कार्ड उड़ के आया था उसी स्पीड से उसकी धुलाई भी हो चुकी है. फिर आ गया.
Yeah, so Gero didn't last very long off the start, but instantly back up now. He's quite low once more. Rocket Fuel comes in, not going to make a connection, but breaking up the grass. They're going to be pretty pleased about that. The mark onto Cordelius as well. Going to jump forward, but actually, anyway, good shot from me out there as well. Might be able to pick up 2 little spawnable.
Hey, Cordelius.
He's going to use his 3rd flying hook already, and really he might get a couple of kills, but no damage to show for it just yet. Should be able to get some now, but that's a lot of utility wasted early on.
Well, now he's got super, pops the nest egg on the left-hand side, and not necessarily the worst time to do just that, but the hatchlings on the side of Eve will do a similar thing also, so Chaos lands one on the left-hand side. I hope that for Zeta's sake that they've kind of... Now he brings OP into the realm, and whilst he's doing the Rocket Rain as well, cancelling out the super. I mean, beautiful stuff from Naui. Going in again, won't find onto Chaos. So all 3...
अबे ये लोग बिना बात करे खेल रहे हैं क्या? मैं होता तो बोल रहा था भाई तेरे ऊपर बैली नाच रही है भाई.
And they've got to find OPE here realistically.
Tries to get some turret damage there, but not really going to be doing anything. Don't think he even got the gadget off. Spin forwards now from Gero and the jump in. Oh, coordinated attack coming from Zeta. But Yoshi's actually going to pick up the Cordelius. It's close in terms of damage. Zeta have a slight lead, but it just seems like the control wave is so fast and it's back and forward. So it's anybody's game.
10% का difference है मात्र.
As well, that Zeta really value that Jesse turret to eradicate it from his existence so quickly speaks volumes to how much that brawler can do in terms of damage if left untouched. Oh,
आ गया.
Taps from Meow. Take care of the left.
एक.
One tap away. That is solid stuff as Zeta really are starting to now come into their own a bit more. They're still in a good spot in terms of damage, but would like to get a little more. Let's be honest, they've got the lead, but with 20 seconds on the clock, they do not want to waver from this position. They've got to stay firm and solid and keep the pressure on. Do not allow SK to get a solid counter push.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what they're doing. Takedown should be there. Garo gets the kill. Chaos in the Shadow Realm can't do anything himself. So SK just going to accept the defeat in this one. First gadget, I believe, they're being used by Yoshi as well. And when he's used the turrets, they've been taken off the map so fast.
Oh ये 1 सेकंड रिमेनिंग है and उन्हें डिलीट कर दिया.
This reverse sweep.
They turn the lights off.
डे 159 में ले सकता हूँ, उससे ज्यादा नहीं. वाओ.
I'll be honest, you know,
तो लो
the fact that Zeta are doing this is very
तो लो और क्या ही करोगे. तुम्हारी मेंबरशिप तो वो राजपाल यादव चुरा के ले गया भाई.
they don't look like the same team all of a sudden, and I think it goes to speak volumes to how Zeta are handling this kind of comp, because ultimately the Jetty is where the value is provided for SK, and they just were, like you said, able to take care of it so quickly.
और डिलेस की तो कोई इज्जत ही नहीं है भाई.
I think this is the time to realistically try to churn in some of that value. As Gary just get a takedown for it. Probably won't be able to find Yoshi, no, but the turret now goes out. And it was misplaced. I mean, there's got to be a misplacement, right?
I don't think so. I mean, it's good behind the wall, right? You can apologize. I feel like they always do it behind the wall now, but now the wall's going to be broken up anyway, so not going to get that much value. Gero is marked up on that left-hand side, and shots coming onto now. He just trying to keep him out of range. Great stuff from SK, and this is pretty much already more damage than they did in the previous game. Keeping control and yet to take a single shred themselves.
Good kills from Yoshi. Has another super to hand. Cycling really nicely for me. But the takedown is down to now. He's going to provide more pressure onto Zeta. Who've got to make a choice to defend. This turret goes out. But taken down equally as swiftly. The damage remains. There's a quite considerable amount, 43% damage dealt by SK already, and not a scratch yet dealt by Zeta, as now he brings Chaos into the realm, jumps over, tries to evade a shock, gets a mushroom for his time, and will heal up, but pops the nest egg, and retaliation could be slow.
0 damage to the safe. Finally, 4% damage.
It's the first sign of it from Garu, but there's 1 minute remaining. Got to start to get more.
Yeah, we'll see if they're able to do much here. Now he just getting the shots onto him. Shots coming through and Gero having to back up, and now that little spawnable place back there, and they do have a bit of time to bring this back, but it's going to be tough in itself. Okay, now has the super as well, Rocket Rain available, but they're pushed so heavily back because all of them single projectile. Spin comes in, now the takedowns are there. Beautiful stuff.
ओ भाई, फिर भी बहुत कम डैमेज है, बहुत पीछे हैं ये लोग. अरे मारते रहो, क्या कर रहे हैं ये बंदे?
I was going to say, if now he stayed in that position, it would have been a serious problem for SK to have to deal with, but Chaos is low, OP is pretty low here as well, but Meow can't find the shots, and this could be a perfect time for a push to be able to inflict more damage onto the scenario. Taro's placed in time, but not much damage until OP lands the taps. Can now he get taken down? No! It's a solid defense for SK, and they should have the upper hand. Now, I don't think there's going to be enough time for Gary, even if he's left untouched on the save, to be able to do much about it. SK now surely moving on to match point, and they are.
Well, that's just absolutely beautiful in reality. Gorgeous stuff coming from those guys. Yoshi in a bit of a tough spot, but does manage to make it happen. Looking calm and composed as ever down there as well. So a little bit curious about if they're going to finish this one off or if Zeta Division
मेंबरशिप ले सकता हूँ मनु.
final. It's definitely worrying for them. But SK
बैन करना तो बनता है भाई.
first monthly.
Flying hook there from Garu. Finally gets found here, but meanwhile now he's made
कॉर्डिलेस इतना भी इम्पैक्टफुल नहीं रहा है फिलहाल के लिए तो.
wants to be right now, just forcing SK around and getting some damage. Realistically, much prefer to have the super. I mean, that's what he's going to be able to cycle off the back of. A lot of these bushes are already taken care of by OPE now, and they're going to hide for Zeta. Chaos surviving on low, gets the takedown nonetheless, and now he's the problem realistically. He can't close the gap. He's got to utilize some of these gadgets early on. He needs to get that super. Without it, Zeta might be in trouble here, but a base of the rocket rain there from Garu opens up some space and opportunity potentially here as well. So if he goes down, nest egg popped by Meow, jumps away, but not going to serve much avail nonetheless. Zeta are making moves.
Well, Yoshi's still got his turret as well. Going to throw it forward. Gero pretty low, but ball's coming through, and now
किधर मार रहा भाई?
still got a little bit.
ऑटो एम यूज कर रहा है वो भी मेरी तरह. देख रहा है दीवार पे मार रहा है, लेकिन ऑटो एम में मैं मारूंगा तो दीवार में क्यों मारूंगा?
Not able to do too much yet again. And the mark straight onto Gero. Beautiful placement from him, but at the end of the day, still pushing forward now, and they are behind. Brought into the Shadow Realm, and all the heals coming forward, but Meow's under a lot of scrutiny. The takedown's there, but OP's got the Rocket Rain straight onto safe. Beautiful stuff from him. Now he getting the heal once more, but comes out the Shadow Realm to quite a lot of people ready to fight him.
Well, damage tricking in there for Zeta. Missed his mark there from Chaos. Keeps Gera in a solid spot. Flying hooks for him, and we'll have to get things back the hard way. She does immediately so as well. Yoshi's got turret, but needs to close the gap before we can realistically be in a position to use it. Throws it into the mid, and it's not going to provide any value realistically at all here, except maybe buying a little bit of time and stopping a little bit of healing on the side of Zeta, who are now advancing ever more forwards. Pest coming in, the hatchlings are going to go to town on this because everyone on the side of SK is already low, and the damage now raining down. SK have got a chance, one glimmer here for a final push, and Gary's going to try to slow the advance, and that he does, but SK cannot move from this position. They've got to stay firm. They cannot go down.
देखा
Now 30.
क्या बोला था मैंने, ये 5वें तक खींच के लेके जाएंगे.
So defensive from Zeta here. The mark goes forward and he hits the Shadow Realm grab. Gorgeous stuff from him, and now Yoshi trying to go forwards, but he's not going to be able to do it. Zeta Division are going to drag this to a set number 5. Rocket Rain came.
पता है मुझे भाई, इनका पता है मुझे कौन जीत रहा, कोई नहीं. अबे क्या हो रहा है, अबे घुप अंधेरा कर लिया इनने.
It's every set. Oh well, stay hydrated guys. Stay hydrated.
भाई डार्कनेस लर्किंग,
They're doing it.
पहले मैंने बताया था तुमको कि जीटा वाले ब्लैक एंड व्हाइट दिख रहे हैं,
Come back.
आप तो सिर्फ ब्लैक ही ब्लैक दिख रहे हैं भाई, व्हाइट तो है ही नहीं कहीं.
Tree then, I'm all for it. They're doing it. They're doing the unthinkable. SK had it in the bag. They had it. It was locked up and done. It was chalked in gem grab. But as you perfectly put it, Zeta
ना भाई, सिर्फ पैसा बोलता है पैसा, तो हम पैसा को सोच के ही हम तुमको बता रहे हैं भैया, हम पैसा का सोच के ही बता रहे हैं
they're just shipping away
कि
gradually so.
भैया जी कुछ भी कर लो, ये 2 सेट तो जीतेंगे ही जीतेंगे. 5वें तक खींच के जाते हैं, हर बार जाते हैं और जाएंगे, चाहे कुछ भी कर लो, कोई सी भी टीम क्यों ना बनी हो. जीटा का हमेशा यही है भाई फंडा, लास्ट तक तो खींचता ही है.
Now SK are throwing it away, it seems, and it's going to come down to a draft, you know. One draft now to determine whether they'll be able to get a monthly finals win of the year or not. I mean, it's just kind of crazy.
Yeah, it's definitely a bit of a tough one for SK Gaming here. They just seem in such a good position, and then a little bit of a gem grab throw was really what kind of turned it around for Zeta Division. They realized they had a bit of a foot in the game, so it's difficult for them, but at the same time, if you're going to get reverse swept in the monthly finals, then you don't really deserve that win. I mean, look at the statistics here as well, though. 16, 15, 11 versus the 13, 18.
लास्ट सेट
It's tough for them considering they had so much more
क्या पैसा,
kills.
अरे कुछ नहीं भाई, क्यों पैसा पैसा करती है, क्यों पैसे पे तू मरती है.
Tough to watch, but
टीम में सबसे ज्यादा टीम है, इतना टाइम लगता है सारा मैच खत्म होने में कि क्या बोले. बात इतनी टीम की है ही नहीं, उतनी ही टीम आती हैं, दूसरे रीजन में भी उतनी ही टीम होती हैं, उतने ही मैचेस होते हैं. बस उनकी टीम, उनके वहाँ पे जीटा नाम की टीम नहीं होती, जो उनको मजा ही आता है, उनको टारगेट दिया होता है उनके प्लेयर्स को कि भले ही तुम जीत भी रहे हो, तुम्हें 5वें सेट तक खींच के लेके जाना है.
versus the Mortis, I mean, Nita, I mean, it's just never going to go the way.
बोलिए आपको 1000 का सुपर चैट दूंगा, लेकिन एक शर्त है, बोलो करोगे.
Let's put it
देखो 1 करोड़ दो,
set now.
1 करोड़,
Comes down to, and
1 करोड़.
one or two things. Let's be honest, it's going to be a 4th grand final win for Zeta, or it's going to be SK's first. And I think if SK do win this next set, I mean, Zeta have made them work for it, and that's the way that I want to see out EMEA for the monthly finals, as far as I'm concerned. Of course, many
राजपाल यादव के बॉस बहुत पैसे आ रहे हैं, मैं देख रहा हूँ.
prior to that in the
हैं राजपाल यादव जी, आपके पास बहुत पैसा है,
but nonetheless,
लगता है आपकी कॉमेडी बहुत अच्छी चल रही है आजकल,
the monthly finals of EMEA will be
लेकिन आपको इस मूवी में दिख क्यों नहीं रहे.
finals, and it's going to be it in Brawl Ball. Field goal is where we're going to finish. No further after that. That's what we know for certain. This draft is such an important one now for both of these two teams to get right.
Well, field goal it is. Got to expect some throwers, especially with these unbreakable walls here as well. We've seen it before. We saw it on Pinball Dreams where the Barley and Willow were brought in to fight against each other. I'd imagine something similar unless they get taken out during the ban phase, which we will find out right now. We got the Carl, the Ash, and the Squeak, so definitely don't want that aggression coming out of SK Gaming on that side. And SK, as I said, don't really want the throwers coming out of Zeta Division. They're going to have the Squeak to that as well, and then we're over to Zeta Division for their first pick.
अरे गुड्डे 1K का सुपर चैट दूंगा, बोलो करोगे, क्या करोगे उसके ऊपर डिपेंड करता है ना, क्या वैल्यू का काम है. अब तुम बोलो कि भाई खदान में जाके 1 करोड़ का हीरा खोद के लाना है, उसके लिए 1,000 रुपए दोगे तो कैसे चलेगा? पहले काम पता होना चाहिए, उसकी वैल्यू उसके बाद पता चलती है वैल्यू कितनी है उस काम की।
We've seen Nisa play time and time again in places where I don't really feel she works. This is a place where I feel she absolutely does work.
वर्ल्ड फाइनल में जाने के लिए कितने की टिकट लगती?
I mean,
अरीना टिकट लगती है आई गेस
alongside the Cordelius, alongside the
20,000 होगा आई गेस,
as well for sure.
2 दिन का
Sprout beat
10,000 पर डे के हिसाब से लगती है। तो स्टेडियम में होता है, अरीना में होता है, तो उस हिसाब से रहता है।
I mean, Bonnie available. There's a great deal of options here for them if they want to explore. But Cordelius, yeah, I mean, why list all the number of brawlers that could potentially be viable when the most
भाई
ones
ये लोग कॉर्डलेस को बैन नहीं करते,
and I mean,
लेकिन कॉर्डलेस लेना सबको है।
sense.
वाह,
The thing is, right, like if they go all the way, 2 sets coming back from being 2-0 down to
भाई वीनस पे जाने के लिए, वहां रहने के लिए 1 लाख आराम से, वेन्यू पे जाने के लिए।
so maybe they'll get to go and shell in themselves, which obviously in
भाई कौन से लोकेशन में है, उसके बाद फिर होटल वोटल करोगे, खाने पीने का खर्चा,
70% win rate on the Shelly as well.
हाँ, बहुत कुछ है भाई। फ्लाइट की टिकट सबसे महंगी पड़ती है, मैं बता रहा हूँ, कोई सी भी देश जाने के लिए कुछ ज़्यादा महंगा नहीं है। खाना उतने का ही पड़ता है जितना इंडिया में पड़ता है, रहना भी उतने में ही मिल जाएगा जितना इंडिया में पड़ता है। सबसे महंगी चीज़ जो अखरती है वो है फ्लाइट टिकट। फ्लाइट टिकट के अलावा सब चलता है भाई, कोई सी भी कंट्री जाना हो भाई, कोई सी भी,
That wouldn't be
सिर्फ फ्लाइट टिकट महंगी लगती है। बाकी तो क्या, हर जगह आजकल मैकडोनल्ड्स है,
the mid
बर्गर खाओ, भड़गड़,
matchup a little bit,
पेप्सी पियो, कोक पियो, हो गया तुम्हारा खाना पीना।
but nonetheless,
5-6 दिन बर्गर खा के काम कर लो।
let's open this Cordelius pick. You know, even if they don't want to opt for the Shelly, which
आप मेरे को,
I mean, it will open up a question mark in
हाँ आप मेरे को,
here. I mean, they are a bit more problematic, I would say, in field goal as a map. Grey, I love that from Zeta. Many teams saying that Grey is one
आप मेरे को मार दो ना भाई,
in game modes outside of hot zone and knockout, which I can understand. Coming in now,
आप मेरे को एम बस,
Zeta.
आप मेरे को एम बस, ये क्या है?
They haven't got the deep.
अबे भाई, अबे जीटा वाले कर क्या रहे हैं?
It's just
मैं बता रहा हूँ, ये अंधेरे का फायदा उठा रहे हैं। इनने प्रोफेशनल प्लेयर्स अलग से हायर कर रखे हैं।
would definitely be a bit of a blessing. I wouldn't be.
और देख रहे हो कितना घुप अंधेरा करके रखे हो भाई, कर क्या रहे हैं? इनके घर में लाइट नहीं है, खर्चा कहाँ गया, पैसे कहाँ गए?
That's my thought here. I think that Zeta have got a more rounded comp. SK got the more daring, the more dangerous on some level.
और जैसे मान लो कायरो, सोजे, लेक्स, ये लोग जाते हैं, उनके लिए भी फ्री
Previously, but
फ्री नहीं है भाई, उनके लिए भी टिकट लगता है, लेकिन उनकी ऑर्ग जो रहती है ट्राइब गेमिंग, वो खर्चा उठाएगी।
I honestly don't think SK just
फ्री सिर्फ और सिर्फ
got it.
ऑर्गेनाइजर्स के लिए होता है, और जो प्लेयर्स पार्टिसिपेट कर रहे हैं उनके लिए होता है। अदरवाइज सबके लिए अगर फ्री रखने लगे तो इनका तो भाई दिवाला निकल जाएगा।
Bring into it with the spike and the crow. I think it's pretty smart to be that safe, but at the same time, crow down the mid against the Bonnie, it's going to be outranged.
अब बताओ कौन जीतेगा, जल्दी बोलो, क्या तुक्का लगाते हो तुम जी, कौन जीतेगा, जीटा या एसके?
finds Yoshi on the right hand side. Can't follow up though. Onto
देखो अपोजिट टीम में कॉर्डिलेस वगैरह सब कुछ है, लेकिन क्या लगता है तुमको कौन जीतेगा?
now quickly he'll back into more or less full HP.
जो मनु को बनाया हो बस वही बना दो बस।
Cordelius
मनु को क्या बनाया भाई, मनु को शेर बना rखा है उधर का।
now with a quick mute onto Meow. Somehow Meow actually comes out on top though. That could be a pass straight onto Meow, but obesities are coming. I like that a lot. Bit of a miss there from Chaos with some miscommunication or lack of confidence there in the ability to handle the situation. But ball is
ये लोग कॉर्डिलेस पहुंचा अपना बॉल लेके।
inside.
भाई ये लोग सब लोग अपना सुपर बचा के रखते हैं, मैं तो भाई साहब अभी तक तो अपना सुपर 2 बार और चार्ज कर लेता।
Pushing things back and there it goes. The jump from Naui is there. Gets some good damage for his time.
खींच।
There from Geru as well, and it's gonna be an opportunity for Zeta if they can just find and close things out.
हाँ भाई,
The Lions to pass away for safety into the hands of Yoshi. And now coming back in.
Well, ball passed back into the goal now. IKO's just trying to make this play forwards, but I mean they haven't got a bad comp for overtime really. I mean,
बोले भाई एमडी बना दो बस। अरे 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 अरे, क्या कीजिएगा इतने एमडी का?
connecting there, and now
अडिनसो बोल रहा है जीटा को जीतने दो, 100 पॉइंट्स मिलेगा। वाह 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 वाह।
Ope now got the jump in. And Yoshi
देखो जीटा ही जीतेगा,
in this radius to be able to get his super free.
पैसा बोलता है भाई, पैसा बोलता है।
Now Garrus
अब तुम बोलो पैसा कैसे बोलता है, रिचार्ज करो, क्यों नहीं बोलेगा?
forwards, and that's a great pass.
अरे भाई क्या कर रहा है?
Should be a pass forward and a goal by Yoshi, but he's in the realm. He just needs to time it perfectly when he comes out. He does
अरे भाई
stops it. Beautiful stuff, and Ope can't get the ball in the goal. 30 seconds on the clock, and SK should have scored that.
Tough times as we approach potential.
1 जगह सुपर चैट दे रहा हूँ, बना दो। अरे करोगे क्या उसका, ये तो बताओ करना क्या चाहते हो बन के? मॉडरेटर बनने के लिए कोई पैसा दे रहा है भाई, और क्या?
Things have happened. This grey in overtime is going to be a blessing as well. And the Bonnie also, if they can get super to hand. But SK done a decent job of starting to push back as they know that they do not have the high ground. That Bruce Bear, though, from Meow, will alleviate things just a little bit. If now he
अरे भाई
it could be devastating. Gary wins the trade on the left-hand side. Yoshi taking shots as well in the mid. Pushes now,
अरे बॉल
leaving Naui. Now,
जी जी।
goal is there. Zeta now on match point. And
अबे भाई मैं बता रहा हूँ, अंधेरे में कोई और खेल रहा है, ये लोग नहीं खेल रहे हैं, अंधेरे में कोई और ही खेल रहा है।
I would not have thought this 2 sets in coming into it. Maybe so, but this is definitely not something we expected after being 2-0 down.
बेचारा कैमरा भी फोकस नहीं कर पा रहा कि भाई कौन खेल रहा है।
See the camera, but we'll see. They managed to win this game.
चलो 50 पुशअप मार दो गोल्डी भाई। वाह 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 वाह।
the secret to success for Zeta is just getting everything darker in the room. Just turn off the lights. Just have everything focused and make the screen.
जानबूझ के।
Hey, it's working. That's
हेलो पर्पल केक गेमिंग।
now. I've never looked like a more likely candidate to take this game. And let's not forget, you know,
भाई राजपाल जी आप बताएं तो सही, आप करना क्या चाहते हैं, क्या करेंगे?
sweep one
मॉडरेटर इतने सारे हो गए हमारे पास कि कमी नहीं है।
Zeta on.
एक्स्ट्रा मॉडरेटर सबके सामने तुम्हें ये रेंच लगा हुआ दिखेगा।
Escape mechanism is available for him, but goes in on Yoshi. Gets some good damage for his time as well. Not out of the woods by any means at all. With the jumping from Obi is strong. The pass can be through here as well. Now he survives, so 3 versus 2, and surely SK can't push this.
I mean, they're going to be trying to go for it. The super's there as well. That's great from them.
अरे भाई कैसे बच गई बॉल, बची कैसे?
Goal for SK. The slowdown's too much. Yoshi gets his as well.
अबे बॉल बची तो बची कैसे?
They're getting this 1-0 up.
Beautiful stuff. It really was from SK. That is not an easy thing to make work, but can
मैच फिक्सिंग हो गई दोस्तों, वो तो होती है,
not done yet. Yoshi forcing Naui into the realm.
मैं बता रहा हूँ।
Straight onto the head of Meow, but actually goes into the realm. Maybe the best play there, but nonetheless, get off the line, supers it away. My word, the defense is there for Zeta, but is it going to continue on with that jump? It may just have bought enough time.
देखना अभी भालू नहीं फेंकेगा वो।
Now and has the Shadow Realm available still, but the need to bears to be placed directly onto him. Brings him into the realm and takes him down. That was so fast. Ope still available to get the jump off here as well. So, I mean, they are 1-0 up. So 40 seconds just playing defense isn't going to be the worst of options. But that's not the best of jumps from Ope. Just puts him in a terrible position, and they can't do much about that. But ball should be heading straight for the corner thanks to Yoshi there, and they haven't got a bad defensive comp either.
अरे आप बताओ, क्या बताऊं,
And that is where
क्या बताना है बताइए।
wins come from, but Zeta are that aggressive team, which will go in for it. Chaos, though, having super is quite key here. Just going to buy his time down as long as he can, and then place it directly onto the ball. And Zeta have got to make their move prior to that moment in time. And now he forced into the realm there by Yoshi. Is the perfect time for that, because he would have been the best candidate to go in to get the ball out. And great defensive measures from SK. They didn't even need half the utility which they had for it, and they still used them nonetheless for safety, as you probably should in what could be your first grand finals of the year in the last monthly final.
लास्ट ऑफ द लास्ट पे जाएगा सीधा। हर बार का है भाई, नया कुछ नहीं है भाई, इतना तो अपने को पता हो गया है जीटा का देख देख के।
This takes
जीटा का जिस दिन मैच चल रहा होता है भाई, भले ही वो 3 बजे शुरू हो 3:30 बजे, इनको खींच के ही ले जाना है भाई।
so just trying to
10 बजे तक तो खींचते ही हैं लोग।
further. We'll see who comes out on
मैं बता रहा हूँ वर्ल्ड फाइनल्स
chaos now, and some
पूरे 10-12 घंटे का चलेगा। पिछले बार हमने कितने घंटे की स्ट्रीम करी थी?
ain't going to be there, but actually
13.5 घंटे की स्ट्रीम थी वो पिछली वाली, जब वर्ल्ड फाइनल्स हुआ था, जिसमें जीटा थी, डबल जीटा थी उसमें।
For SK now to
13.5 घंटे की स्ट्रीम की थी मैंने लगातार पूरी।
forced back actually from that position there, and allows Chaos to take the front of things and getting some good value from now. He gets a super his time as well. He places that at just the right time onto Gary, who's not got a TP out. All but now the aggressiveness of now he pays off, and Zeta are starting to fight back here.
ओलियो 1K का सुपर चैट दूंगा, आप क्या दोगे? 1K का सुपर चैट देना है तुमको भाई, 1K का सुपर चैट देने से अच्छा तुम मेंबरशिप ले लो, या तो फोन पे या पेटीएम करो, ठीक है? तुम्हें मॉड चाहिए ना, दे देंगे, लेकिन अगर गलती करोगे तो फिर निकाल भी देंगे। ये पहले से हम बता दे रहे हैं, मॉड देने होते हैं भाई, इतने सारे लोगों को दे रखा, तुमको भी दे देंगे।
Shots coming through. Jump forwards from Naui. That's going to be a goal. 1:30 between them and winning it all.
टीम क्या है? सुपर चैट तो वैसे भी आधा तो वैसे ही गूगल ही रख लेगा।
happen. Big connections there from OPE, but no gadget to get the slow off. It's surprising that he's already exacerbated them at such an early stage in the game, and now an opportunity potentially if Yoshi can just make something happen off the back.
लेकिन हमने वो वाली कंडीशन ही बता दी भाई, तुम 1000 की सुपर चैट दो चाहे 1 करोड़ की, अगर गलती होगी तो हमें निकालना ही पड़ेगा, उसमें हम कुछ नहीं कर सकते।
Play gets now taken care of. The jump in is good from OPE.
भाई जीटा तो मजाक समझती है।
Now position now gotta get the ball.
अब देखो लास्ट का भी लास्ट खींचेगा, वाह
Score this the outside can. Flipping heads to
भाई, क्या है, लास्ट से भी laast खींचेंगे क्या?
they're off the line. The T-wipe is there, and that might be the one chance that SK had to bring this back into tie.
I mean, that's got to have been a goal there. The Shadow Realm's there as well. The mute, so he can't use anything else. But 35 seconds just isn't enough time. The jump forwards, the Shadow Realm grabbed there. That actually took him out of the spike super and out of the shot. OP gets the kill forwards, but 27 seconds. They need all three, and Chaos is going to fall. Only OP can get forward in this time. Yoshi going to be joining him now, but I just don't think that's enough.
It's going to take a monumental effort, and there's only 15 seconds for it now. OPE has super. Something could happen. But
चलो भाई, जीटा जीत गई, जैसा कि हमने बोला था। चलो छोड़ो गोल्डिया, छोड़ो भाई छोड़ो ही।
the division have done it. The reverse sweep is there, and SK
एंड विद दैट
of the first monthly final win of
पूरा अंधेरा घुप अंदर, मैं बता रहा हूँ, इनके पीछे कोई और खेल रहा था, ठीक है, पूरा पीछे कोई और ही खेल रहा है।
the region with style.
I mean, that is incredible. From 2-0 down to 3-2 win on the double match point. Zeta Division.
अब तो लाइट जला लो। अच्छा, ओरिजिनल वाले बंदे आए नहीं क्या?
We've only had 6 monthly finals. 4 out of 6 is huge for Zeta Division.
बताओ, मेरे 4000 पॉइंट के ऊपर हुए होते भाई, जो मैंने तुक्के लगा रखे हैं।
Crazy. I mean, that was such a pinnacle moment for SK.
आम अच्छा दिख रहा म्याऊं, इसलिए म्याऊं को दे देते हैं।
Potentially from having literally 100 points more to their name going into SPS, and I mean that would be crazy. I mean, they would have ended the day on 327 points, and that would have put them in such a great spot. That
देख रहे हो,
back around to Hall.
देख रहे हो।
It might do, and I mean that's going to be tough for them because I think they're still going to be trailing for esports now, and it's all going to come down to that SP.
हो गए 3000 पॉइंट्स, वाओ।
Play some great Brawl Stars.
चलो भाई, बंद कर दो भाई, मैं बता रहा हूँ, सारी फिक्सिंग आज ही होनी है। और तुम बोलते हो आईपीएल में मुंबई इंडियंस वाले फिक्सिंग करते हैं ना भाई, हर जगह चलता है यार, समझा करो यार, इट्स ऑल अबाउट मनी। पूरे एक्टिंग कर रहे भला ई स्पोर्ट्स टीम में, ऑफिस में लाइट ना रहे। अरे भाई, वो दूसरे प्लेयर खेल रहे थे अंधेरे में, तुम्हें थोड़ी पता होगा। मतलब कहने के लिए कैमरा ऑन करके मैं पूरा अंधेरा करके बैठ जाता हूँ, पीछे से किसी और को पकड़ा देता हूँ, ले बेटा खेल लेना मेरी जगह, मैं जैसे ही अपन जीत जाएंगे ना, मैं लाइट जला लूंगा, समझ रहे हो? अरे भाई, कहा कहा क्या कहा भाई, क्या कहा दिया भाई, क्या कह दिया हमने? कल आरपी हाँ, तो अपन खेलेंगे ना, सुबह खेलेंगे कल, तो बजमी, कल सुबह बजमी होवतानी, ये मजा आवतानी, तो लाइक करत बानी, जो सब्सक्राइब नहीं करबे तो गद्दारी करबे, गद्दारी करबे तो क्या करबे, पिटाई करबे, बैन करबे, नहीं तो जिम कॉर्बेट के शेर को पकड़ा देबे, वहां तुम्हारी कौआ बिरयानी हो जाबे। चिकन बिरयानी खाने जा रहा हूँ भाई, और खाओ खाओ, सावन है, हम तो बजमी में जाके ही खाएंगे, अब क्या ही कर सकते। चलिए मिलते हैं। अब कल सुबह विथ बजमी, तब तक के लिए बाय बाय, टाटा, टेक केयर, हैव फन। और हम चले देखेंगे, अभी कितने बज रहे हैं, अभी 10:11 हुए हैं, तो अभी जाके थोड़ा आधे एक घंटे तो देख ही सकते हैं डीमन स्लेयर एपिसोड नंबर 9th पे पहुंच गए, एपिसोड नंबर 9th में। पहली बात तो डीमन स्लेयर में मुझे यही समझ में नहीं आ रहा है शुरू कहाँ से करना है। ना सीजन 1 लिखा होता है, ना सीजन 2 लिखा होता है, सीधे आर्क दिए हुए हैं। अब मैंने फिर जाके इसलिए उस पे गूगल पे सर्च मारा कि भाई स्टार्ट कहाँ से होता है ये, डीमन स्लेयर, डीमन स्लेयर, डीमन स्लेयर, डीमन स्लेयर। ये एक तो जापानीज में लिखा हुआ, कुछ समझ में नहीं आ रहा, जापानीज आती नहीं है भाई। तो जाके पहले डीमन स्लेयर पूरा सीजन सर्च किया। अच्छा, सीजन 1 का नाम क्या है, किमेत्सु नो आयोसाई। अच्छा, ये नाम है क्या, ठीक है भाई, चलो फिर जाके इसको शुरू करते हैं। तब जाके तो 10 मिनट तो ये माथा पच्ची करने के बाद पता चला कि अच्छा ये सीजन 1 है, इसका ये एपिसोड से देखना है। नेजुको वाले से, अरे ऐसे नहीं है, एनीमे वॉच पे भी जाके देख लो, एनी वॉच पे, उस पे जाके डीमन स्लेयर सर्च करना, तो ये इतने सारी लिस्ट आएगी तुम्हारे सामने। इसमें सीजन 1, 2, 3 ऐसा करके कुछ नहीं लिखा है, पूरे जापानीज में लिखा हुआ है, कुछ समझ में नहीं आता। अच्छी समझ में ही नहीं आता भाई कि शुरू कहाँ से करना, खत्म कहाँ से होगा। यार जो भी, अभी तो सीजन 1 जो भी है इसका वो उस पे है, जिसके 9 एपिसोड देखे जा चुके हैं, बाकी चल रहा है। चलो मिलते हैं अब कल, तब तक के लिए टाटा, बाय बाय, टेक केयर, हैव फन, पीस आउट, से पिज्जा भी, सी यू ऑन द नेक्स्ट वन, बाय।